And we are back. I'm going to try to not be sick on this stream this week. Anything's better than last week, let's be honest. Anything's better. How are you, mate? Had a haircut? Have you had a haircut?
No, I just had an afternoon nap, so I've got like bed hair. That's why it looks a bit different. But yeah, still got my long hair.
That's very honest of you, mate. What are we going to go through tonight? We're going to go through the AC Milan game very briefly. Alexander Isak. Apparently, a new player has signed, and another new player is on its way. And then we'll do. Do you know what? Actually, let's do a bit of shirt talk. We love football shirts on this channel. We did a whole episode going through shirts, didn't we? Through the Premier League. And I know, obviously, hang on. Are neither of us wearing a football shirt as I say this?
No, yeah, ran out.
For a moment, I couldn't see you. You were so camouflaged there. But I am repping a bit of Sabbath with the sad news of Ozzy Osbourne. But less of that. Let's get into it. All right. So, here we go. We have got new kids on the block. Thoughts on the new shirt, mate? Does it look as good as what we were kind of talking about when it was first leaked and rumoured?
Yeah, I like it. I don't know if I'm gonna get it though. I'm not convinced now. Like I don't know. I just think about it. I just think I don't know. I just couldn't see me wearing them colours that often. I know it's dark and I usually wear darker colours, but I don't know. I just something about it. I just don't. Maybe it's the red on the Adidas like stripes on the top.
Yeah,
I don't
we
know.
were saying about this before,
It's just a
weren't we?
weird composition. I think it's a lovely shirt. I just don't think it's for me compared to the other two shirts now that I've like seen it a bit more. You know what I mean?
Yeah, my son's got it. I made sure I got my son it rather than myself. Mind you, for the price it would cost me, I've got him like the full kit. So there we go. And to be fair, he's got an excuse of wearing it because he's playing football, and I'm just sat here talking about it. That isn't that sad that my child who's less than 10 years old is doing more than me. But there we go. That's a whole different ball game. That is. It looks. I must admit, it looks a lot nicer than I thought it would. So the red on there, like I thought the same. I thought just put white on it, or just do it as the lighter blue that on the shirt, the same light blue. Do that. I don't know, but red seemed a real mix match. And seeing it now, especially with the shorts and with the socks, I actually don't mind it as much now. It's really, really grown on me. I think I might get it. But I will say, I was chatting. I was chatting to my friend Nick, who might be watching. He quite often tunes in. We were talking about this shirt, and then a bit later on, it came up with AFTV, and James B was talking about it, and he said a lot of them preferred the kind of replica kit rather than the pro version. And there was a bit of like, not an argument between them, but half of them liked it being in the pro kit, half of them liked the kind of replica version, which is interesting. With the kids, they don't do the kind of pro version. So I'd love to see what that looks like, because apparently it's a bit more dull. You can almost see through it if you hold it up to the light. It's like a real thin material. So I'm interested to see it in adult sizes and compare the two, see what they're like. But I think Adidas have done a real good job with the kits, to be fair. We've still got the white one to come out.
Yeah, can't wait.
So
probably won't come out until like 2 weeks into the season or something. That's usually when we do it. But I can't wait for the white one. That's the one I want to get, I think.
Debut with Gyokeres. That could be the one. Or is it going to be like a marquee signing at the end of the window, and then we get them in the white kit?
Well, we'll wait until we play Bournemouth away, and then that'll be the only time we ever use that kit.
Yeah, that's so true, isn't it?
Always Bournemouth away.
Yeah, that's oh god. And do you know what? We never really perform in a white kit. Like, the the full whiteout kit. Like we never performed well on that either. To be fair, third
Oh
kits in
yeah,
general,
yeah.
like in recent years, we've been pretty terrible in. I'm sure when I was like young and sprightly, we actually did well in third kits, but these days, oh, not so
That
much.
white, the white kit with wore for obviously the campaign
Mm,
twice in the cup. Yeah, we beat the only team we've beat with it is Oxford, I think. So,
yeah,
that's
kind of.
just like don't wear that kit. It's also them 2 games that we've lost wearing that kit are crazy. Like we just dominated and lost.
Yeah, yeah,
Like
yeah.
it's
Can't do anything, but
the worst games of my life. Like no, never
yeah.
again.
But having said that, like this kit, lovely. It looks like that white kit is going to be really nice again. So hopefully change our fortunes in that. Red kit is really nice as well. I really do like it. That one is. I mean, I've only seen the pro version of that one, ironically, and it was, yeah, top notch. But I've got a picture of Salmon here. I've got a picture of Max Dowman here. New kids on the block. Let's be honest. Hell End are just churning out talent right now. Like I used to look and go, all right, you're gonna have to wait a good 10, 20 years before you get a talent. And even then, are they gonna be like a real top talent? Saka came along, and Saka was almost, I don't want this to sound disrespectful, but Saka is what Reece Nelson should have been. Because Reece Nelson was always the person that everyone talked about and said, he is going to be the next big thing. He's got real talent on the ball, free kicks, able to take men on. I mean, possibly you could argue due to injuries and due to opportunities, he hasn't developed in the way that he should have. But Saka really had just stepped up and just went above and beyond. He has been a real star. Then we've got Miles and then Ethan. And then suddenly, like this preseason, there's like loads of extra players coming on. Just general thoughts, because we won't spend too long on the game, but general thoughts of that the youth players.
Yeah, I mean, like you said, it's kind of weird because it's like Saka kind of started this all. I know, obviously, we had like Smith Rowe and Nelson before him. I actually think in this game as well, you saw Nelson be pretty good. Like I thought he was pretty effective. I liked what he was doing, and I think people realize that Nelson is a good Premier League player. He just is so injury prone. It's not even funny at this point that he's never really been able to get much sort of connection there. But I do think like with these youngsters, I watched this game back because I didn't wake up in time. But so I was like watching it, and I just wanted to see them. Obviously, I want to see you, Mendy, and some other players. And like I've watched Max Dowman quite a lot at youth level because people have spoken about him for a very long time. And everything I've seen from him, like him, very good on this wide stretch. Like he is so good on the wing, it's unreal. At youth level, he just runs past everyone down the right side. And I've always kind
Yeah.
of thought, well, maybe if he's in the first team, would that work better? Would he still be able to be like a winger type of player? And in this game, I know it's like selected minutes against obviously like AC Milan, but I watched this game and I was just like, he's actually doing everything he did at the youth level, just in the game against professional players. Like he's just taking people on, he's just going past players. I was like, when he picks the ball up like early on, and gets into the box and has that shot, like I just think you just see the confidence on him and receiving the ball inside the pocket and turning with it so quickly. And he's just super quick. Like he picks up the ball and his first thought in his head is just, I'm going to find a run. And eventually, if he doesn't find a run, he'll hold on to it, recycle play. But he is just so exciting to watch. And I think this was an incredible like aspect of all the things that I've seen him do, like at a level of like professional football with actual people. And he is tall. He's 6 foot, which is he's taller than me. And he's 15 years old. So he is like doesn't look out of place. He's taller than a lot of our players around him in the attacking line. And I mean, it's scary, like how good he is. And I did do a short on Marley Salmon as well. And like I do want to say, like, we didn't really get to see some of his defensive work because Milan sat in a low block for some reason, but
Yeah.
I mean, fair enough. But his range of passing is incredible. Obviously, he has that massive wide switch he does from about 50 yards to the left-hand side to Nelson, which everyone's been talking about. But his passing range has been elite, for so long. He has played, I think, 5 Premier League 2 games, which is under 23s, which is more, I think, than Downman. I don't think Downman's played 5. He's come off the bench in a couple of them, but he is 15. And for a defender who's 15 to play like that amount of game, like to be playing at under 23 levels. Like some players in their level, like we saw it last year. Butler on a G Day was 22. Like,
Hmm.
and he was up front, and you got Marley Salmon in the back, who's 15. That's 7 years gap. That's a massive difference. And like the level that he has with his passing is incredible. And like also, like physically, he looks like he is. There needs to be a level there, but he looks fine. Like I never really see a worry with him, which is scary. And like they always come in twos, is what they say. I will say, like I think our academy has ramped up a lot down to Per Mertesacker. I think he deserves immense credit since he become the head of youth development, basically. But obviously, there's been such these guys have kind of come through the academy at very young ages, but there's obviously been a more emphasis of buying young players like a City, like a Chelsea. Like we've just like reportedly bought that guy from Salford for about
Yep.
200, 300K. Obviously, we hijacked him off Liverpool. Obviously, with Chido Obi not being there, kind of makes sense. Why would you want a youngster there? There's obviously been links to a guy we're paying over £1 million for in Ireland. Who's a 16-year-old. He played pro football in Ireland, so that's obviously been up there as well. So there's obviously been like a much more ramp of just getting young players in. And I've always said this, like Arsenal don't. Arsenal have always had young talent. We've just not been able to use it well enough, or sell it, or just make the most out of it. Like, and that's the big problem. Like, Willock was a good player. Balogun was a good player. Like Smith Rowe was a good player. I mean, Smith Rowe maybe even better than that. Injuries maybe stopped that. But in the end, like they were, I would say, successes at the club because we were able to shift them on for a lot of
Yeah.
money in giving it. So it's fine. But there's so many other talents. Like you think about Chuba Akpom. Like I remember when he was hyped up loads, and we never really got anything for him. And eventually later on in his career, he's like had a pretty decent career. And we've just never really done that. So I'm hoping now, like even if these players, not maybe these two specifically, but some of the others, like Josh Nicholas, who's still a great talent, maybe if he doesn't work out, I'd like to see us like be able to get good loans out for them and then be able to sell them, which like is the whole point of having a healthy youth development. Like even if the player doesn't have a future at the club, I'm sure they'll want to join us if they know, well, I've got a future somewhere, rather than just being like, you're going to get thrown out. So I
Do
mean,
you
it's
think?
encouraging.
Do you think we have to like work on the loan system, or should we really be looking at like a multi-club model where we've actually got a tried and tested club that we send our players to, whether it be to get visas or whether it be to get experience? Because there's a lot of kind of discourse between the two. I think you could argue both. I think you really could. You look at someone like Savio going to City, and the amount of money that's in that deal. Interesting how they got him for so cheap. But at the same time, if we can get the loan deals just better, I think sometimes we send these players to places that don't necessarily suit their games. So it's, for their development themselves, it's not going to be great. Are they going to fit to the team themselves and get minutes? Probably not. I think of like someone like Serge Gnabry. He was a prime example of a player who had undoubted talent and then was kind of binned off. And it's crazy. Like we got nothing for him. He goes off, does really well. Was he at Werder Bremen originally, I
Yeah,
think?
he
And
was at
then
Hoffenheim and Werder Bremen,
yeah,
and then
and then goes off to Bayern Munich, and yeah, you just look and go, God, that is such like a mismanaged deal and a mismanaged player.
and we
What
got
would you?
finessed in that one as well. We
Oh
got
yeah,
finessed, like, but we sold him to Werder Bremen for like 10 mil, but he already had an agreement like to join and buy in basically in 2 years after or something. It was like a
yeah.
complete finesse system. Like they really got us.
But like, do you think it's like the loans that needs to improve, or do you think we should be going along that kind of idea of like a multi-club model?
I don't like. I think multi-club model is like the best way to like make it sustainable. But I just don't think it's realistic. Like I don't see Cronkays like they barely like until they've been forced into putting money into the club. They haven't even put money into our club. Like the Denver Nuggets are struggling out there. Colorado Rapids are struggling. They had a COD team that completely disbanded after 2 years because they didn't even have to run it. Like the Cronkays are just not a very like they just I don't know, they're very weird with how they spend money. So I can't imagine them going to buy like a Liga Un team and being like, we're gonna put a couple of money into them, and that actually might make it worse for us. I think that would be the best way to do it, but I think with our owners, it's unlikely. I do think with just loans, though, like you said, I think just having a better system of youth progression would just be better for their team. Like Liverpool don't necessarily have a multi-club model. I know there's like owners, friends with some others and stuff, but they just buy players super young, loan them out really well, and then they get loads of good money for them. It happens all the time. Like I just think we need to do more of that really to progress. And I do think we are. And I think it's going to take a long time. Like we're not going to see the real benefit of this for like half a decade probably. But we'll get there eventually. And I think the thing is, this is where you start sifting out all the talent, and then you start seeing all the actual stars that you can come through, like Max Dowman, Salmond,
Yeah.
Waneri, and Miles Skelly. So I mean, the youth is just like, even Waneri, I do want to say, in attacking midfield was brilliant as well. So like, I mean, it was one of them games where it's like the youth really got to show their quality. And I think a lot of players that people didn't really foresee having much future like this season definitely showed. Like Bauman, in my opinion, is probably going to play at least like 1 minute this season. I could see it
Yeah.
happening. So
I'd
it'd
be
be
shocked if he
interesting.
doesn't, to be honest. I think it seems like Arteta and the club are setting him up for it. So similar to what we did with Ethan, just like a couple of minutes, so he's had a taste of it, and then take him out. Just take him out then. He doesn't have to play in a half an hour or something, or multiple games.
When we're
Give him
9-0 up against Burnley, we'll bring him on.
Yeah, yeah,
For a
exactly.
minute.
Yeah. Um and it's crazy because sometimes people are pushing for young players to get minutes. We're a team who have come second, 3 consecutive years now? Champions League semi-finals, go out to the European champions. It's not like we're in a position where we have to throw these players in constantly. Tom, welcome back, mate. Tom has also said, what we're saying is we need to buy Leon.
Well, I don't know if I'd touch them with what John, what's his name, John Text or whatever, absolutely running every club he owns to the ground. But yeah, I mean, there is some good. Like, I want us to have more friendly relationships with teams. I know we always go on about this, and we've been burnt a little bit by some of our good faith relationships, like Leipzig maybe. But like in the
Yeah.
championship, it's a great example of like, I know George talks about this a lot, but like there is clubs down there that just get good talent in. I know I'm from Norwich and I want to big them up a little bit, but Norwich have been signing some incredible Scandinavian youngsters this year. They've signed like 3 already, and they poached a winger from Metz who was going to go to Watford called Diallo, and they're buying these
Yep.
young talents for about 3 to 4 mil. I'm like, bro, if you give Norwich 15 mil for a player, they sold signs for 18 mil. He was their best player last season and won like all these awards, even though he was pretty bad for half of it, being honest. But they're selling Sargent for 20 mil, who's their best player. They sold Gabriel Sara for 20 mil. They've sold like all their talented players for that amount of money, and they're like their best players. I'm like, sometimes we can find a home for them in our squad. Like we were talking about Gabriel Sara like not long ago, and he was so good at Norwich, like unbelievable midfielder. And people are talking about Eze now or Gyokeres now. These players came from the championship. Only 2 years ago, Gyokeres was in the championship. Now I'm paying 50 mil for him. Like it doesn't take that long to progress. Like I think
Yeah.
like we should be looking at this a lot more.
No, I completely agree. But what a wonderful place we are in, where we're looking at bringing in, top level talent, but just kind of under the seams, we've got these young lads coming through. And let's be honest, Max Dowman is like, I mean, he's not just an up and coming talent. He is a proper phenom, like world class phenom. At his age group, he is probably, I'd argue, like the best in the world at his age, which is just, I mean, it's bonkers, isn't it? Let's kind of go on to the next part of this, though, because talking of players that might be coming to the club, do you notice a certain Rafa Leao coming over to have a chat with the boys? What one of these? Don't let everyone know that you're saying, oh, where's the best place to buy a house in London? Anything in it?
Well, it's one of them things where, like, I'm sure Liao would love to come to us, but Arteta's just not going to want him. So
Yeah,
it's
exactly.
just it's like one of them situations where it's like the other way around. Instead of us trying to convince him, it feels like he's got to convince us. Like, Liao's a weird player. I've gone back and forth on my opinion about Leao. Like, should Arsenal sign him, should not. But I think now it's clearer ever that we're not even looking at a profile like him at all. I don't think we ever were going to anyway. Like, if you wanted a cheaper version of him, you get Rashford, even though Rashford isn't cheap. But like in that sense, it's a cheaper version of him. I just think, given how Arsenal play and given the fact we're signing Gyokeres and we're looking at maybe an Eze, like, I just don't think we can really afford to have someone that doesn't press. I know people are like, "Oh, I deeped it too much," but I don't know.
Yeah, to be fair, yeah, I do know what you mean. Evening down, by the way, it is an exciting window, and do you know what? We'll go straight into that. It's a good segue, Dan. Thanks, mate. There's been a bombshell, not a bomber. So Fabrizio Romano tweeted, it was yesterday, wasn't it? So understand Alexander Isak remains a target for Liverpool, even after signing Ekitike, but depends on Newcastle. And then today, he's put out once again, Isak wants Liverpool. It's his priority as reported. No talks with Al Hilal, Chelsea or Man United. Interestingly, he doesn't mention Arsenal. I've heard that Berta, quite a while back when he first came in, actually contacted Newcastle about him. Is there any chance he could come to us? Like, genuinely, let's say out of 10, 10 being is an absolute cert. What are you going for here, mate? Oh, is he gone? Has Reece just gone? He's just disappeared. I think. Oh, you're back, mate. Oh, you're back. Come on, out of 10, what are the chances that we get Isak?
-6, -7. It's not happening. It's not going to happen. I genuinely don't think it would have happened. Now, knowing a lot of the context around him and like the situation a bit, I know we don't know. I don't know what's gone on there suddenly, but there's a little bit of context we've been given. I think it was quite clear that he was never really like that. And since Berg came in, he's not really an option. Like, I read a report by The Athletic, I think yesterday or the day before, and it basically broke down how much money they think it would cost to buy Isak. And the overall deal will be £250 million. And up front, as much as the fee would be 140, the agent fees as well would be up to like 40 mil or something. So it's about 180 you've got to pay like within the next couple of years. And then with all the wages as well, it's about 250 they calculated. And I just thought there's no way we can afford that. Like Liverpool, yeah, fair enough, they can. They've literally not spent money for years, to be fair. I know we haven't, but they haven't even more. And they're actually like good at selling, to be fair, a lot better than us. So like, yeah, like we just are not in a position to spend 250 mil. We went through it before the summer saying that like getting him in would be hard. And that was us giving the benefit of the doubt, being like, oh, it might be 120 more, 110 or cheap or whatever. Given the situation now, Newcastle are going to highball Liverpool. I know, like, I think he will leave eventually to Liverpool. I think that it makes sense now, given everything that's happened. But I still think that Newcastle will play a hard bargain. I don't think Newcastle will just be like 110 mil. They'll be like 140, I think, at least.
Yeah.
Which is crazy money, which is fair. And like, I know the injury record people are going to talk about, which I think is also fair. I just think that like overall, like we need more players. And I think more than ever, it is moving into a situation where I believe Arsenal will at least sign one more player this summer. I don't think our transfer business is done at all. And I don't think we'll be able to get all these players in with not. Like there is rumours apparently, like Miguel Delaney, who I don't really like, but like he did an article about 20 minutes ago saying that Arsenal are ramping up talks with Eze, and there is reports that apparently we're going to include Nelson in a deal, which I did hear like a few days ago as well. So like with that sort of going on, like you just look at it and go, the team is going to be incredibly much better overall. And like Isak's brilliant, like Isak's a great player. But I said this to you last week. I said that Newcastle should try and sell Isak realistically. Like I said that it doesn't make sense to keep a player when the market is potentially going to crash, or a lot of people think it is going to crash. You're never going to get this money again for him, and you probably won't be able to get another good striker. Like Šeško is the last guy that is really there. No wonder they're linked to him. Who else is like there as a striker? Like,
do you know what? They've just been linked to Visser.
And well, they want both. Yeah.
I mean, imagine if they can't get Šeško and they end up. I mean.
Let's just get
the Geordies will not be happy then. Like that's
I
going to be a
I
horrible place. Like,
I do
oh,
think that the Newcastle window is funny because, like, I hate like I'm not an arrogant person. I don't want to like pretend that like our club's big or whatever. And I've always been quite honest with how I feel about Newcastle. But
our club
ultimately,
is bigger.
Newcastle are in a market where they're competing for transfers with maybe Arsenal, not necessarily directly this summer, but we are there. Chelsea, City, and Liverpool. Any other club in the Premier League, Newcastle can beat players towards. I think them four
Hmm.
teams are going to be incredibly hard. All of them have good projects that are arguably better than Newcastle. And I think if you asked any person on the street right now, who's your top four for next season, I can't see anyone not saying Arsenal, Chelsea, Man City, Liverpool. I think it's in
Yeah.
my eyes, they are the clear four best teams in the country. So I think Newcastle are close, but obviously they got Champions League football by goal difference. Let's not forget that. Like it's not exactly like they're convincingly that good. And I do think with Isak, I always say this: when you've got one of the best strikers in the world, I consider him the best, but I understand if you would, like some people don't. If you've got that player, he wants to win. He wants to be at the Champions League finals. Wants to be in these. Newcastle can get there maybe in a couple of years' time, but he hasn't got 5 years to wait. Like he has to
No.
do it now. So of course he's going to want to go to Liverpool from Newcastle. I know some people don't think it's that big of a jump. Becoming fifth in the Prem and winning the Prem is a very big jump. So
The que-
it doesn't surprise me.
my question to you, because obviously the timing of this news is the most bizarre thing about it. Not the fact that Isak wants to leave. I'm not surprised. That was like, well, okay, but you're at Newcastle. I feel like you've probably done as much as you possibly can, get them into Champions League, winning a trophy there. Perfect time to move on. Like I said it ages ago, and I mean I had Newcastle fans terrorizing me, if you remember, and I just it's the timing that's really bizarre, and I do wonder if the Ekatike deal. So it could be kind of like a multitude of things. The Ekatike deal was his basically his final straw, where he's gone, do you know what? I'm fed up with this. Why is another player going to a big club that I'm better than? I think the wages have been a bit of a pain for him as well, because he must be looking around going, I want 300 grand a week. There's all these players around the country that are getting paid way more than me, as you say. And I'd agree. I think right now he is the best striker in the world. And I just look and go, well, you're not getting paid like you're the best in the world. So is it that, or hot take here? Did Liverpool always want Ekatike and Isak? And they knew that. And this whole thing about them just kind of swooping on in before Newcastle could get Ekatike, was the timing actually a really, really good idea of, well, wait, we'll get Ekatike first, and then Isak can force his hand so we get both. Because I wonder if Ekatike knows, if this is right, if he knew Isak's going to Liverpool, would he sign for them as well? I wonder. Like I mean, it's all a bit odd. I think that Al Hilal thing is crazy as well, because Qatar and Saudi, the whole diplomatic conflict, I can't see that happening. I just cannot see how that deal would go through. Chelsea, maybe. I mean, but
Chelsea
surely
already.
with their current financial constraints and stuff like, I just
Well,
can't see.
and they're buying Simmons and Hatto, so I don't even know
Yeah.
if they've got any
So
money there.
I just don't see how that works. United, like, why would he go to United apart from money? Like, I just don't see it.
I don't even think United can pay the money.
Yeah.
I think
I mean,
Liverpool's the
I can
only
imagine
option.
wages, they'll somehow work that out. But yeah, it's just the whole thing's bizarre. We're not going to go for him.
I don't think we would have either. Like, I know a lot of people are angry because it's always that thing. Last year we took so long to make a transfer, and we lost all this, and then this year we're too quickly. And I know people have said that like maybe we left that boat too early, but ultimately, like even at this point, if we'd signed a Madueke and all the other players, can we even afford it? He's like, maybe we can squeeze it in, but is it worth it? No. We still need to
mm,
sign left winger. We still need to sign some left-sided players to improve us. Like, I think that I don't think we were ever going to do a bit deal for 250 mil, given the amount of other stuff we've had to do. I know Liverpool do as well, and they've bought loads of other players. They literally spent 100 mil on Verts, and it's crazy the amount of money they're going to spend. They're going to spend like 400 mil because they still need a centre back. I'm guessing they're not going to buy a defensive midfielder. I think they're going to bund that off for another year, which they've bundled off for 3 years now.
Yeah.
Fair enough, it doesn't matter to them, but that's funny to me. So like, this is why I say, like, obviously, it is a scary prospect of Isak going there. Like Ekatike and Isak is weird. And I think when people say to me, I think Ekatike and Isak is a long-term solution for like the Salah point, because they can kind of get the goals and assists that he's going to get. You could just buy a conservative right winger. Like, I don't think you need to have the same setup. You can kind of figure it out anyway.
Well,
But they still need to buy a right winger though. Like, I don't
and
know.
this is the thing. I look at Verts because originally, like when he first came out, I remember talking to you and going, I don't think he's going to play centrally. I think he's going to have to play out on the left and then come centrally. That's the only way I can really see him fitting in that team. And then with Ekatike coming in, I was like, right, okay, Ekatike is probably going to go down to the centre, so I can kind of understand it. If Isak goes there as well, so how on earth do you start fitting in all of them? I think Ekatike has to be a
It's gonna be the
long-term
most expensive
prospect.
sub, yeah.
I mean,
So
yeah, it's just bizarre. Like if I was a Liverpool fan, I'd be well excited, but I'd also be like really worried about, well, what happens if Van Dijk goes down? Because now I'm suddenly getting centre backs who are really injury prone themselves, and I'm having to rely on them. I just think the idea is an amazing like prospect, and they're probably looking at it in terms of like, this is a once in a lifetime chance for us to go and get the best number 9 currently, and then put him on top of having possibly the best 10 in the world and then the best right winger in the world. It's unbelievable, but in terms of squad building and finances, is it the right choice? I don't know. Like,
it's crazy.
Here's a question for you, right? Because I know if I go back one slide, like we talked briefly, obviously joking about Leao. I think if you're looking at the window, and most fans, what they'll probably do, they're not going to judge our window on the work that we've done. They're going to judge the window based on Liverpool's window. Does that kind of make sense? So it's like people almost, they almost make this like league in their heads of like, oh, who's done the best work in the window, who's done the worst work in the window, rather than what does the work in the window do for that particular team. If Arsenal only get Eze, I think we'd both be in agreement right now that the general consensus would be that Isak going to Liverpool have won the window, so to speak. Yeah?
Yeah.
If Arsenal, though, go on Gyokeres, which obviously we'll come on to in a minute, they go out and get Eze, and they did go and get a left winger as well, in like Leao or Rodrigo. Does that put us on par with them?
I think this is the interesting like thing about it, because I still think Arsenal are very interested in Rodrigo, and I don't know what's going on with Rodrigo, because that brother's crazy. I don't know what he's doing. Like, he's not making a decision. He's still on holiday, whatever. Like, and I've heard there's so much like push and pull in his entourage that they just don't know what they're going to do with him. But I still think we are interested in Rodrigo. And I do think if Liverpool sign Isak, that puts them out of the Rodrigo race. They have to sign a defender, more importantly, and that will probably be their last sell. And I can't see them, focus on a left winger. But there's still like, and they'll probably put Ekatike there or like Verts. But this, I don't know. I feel like that does put us in a position to do that. I've seen so many people, like genuinely, like people right now who are putting Arsenal like 4th or 5th in the table, which I do think is crazy. We were undoubtedly the second best team in the country last year, despite having more injuries than anyone else, and we've
suspensions as well.
It's because we've bought, you know what it is? We haven't bought like starters. We've bought players that help our starters play more and give us good like backups, or not even backups, but good replacements, which actually make the team better. And I think is actually a much better thing than buying out and out starters. But like, I just think so many people look at our players and they go, well, how's he going to play? Like, we'll go on to it, Gyokeres, but like, how's it? That doesn't change much for me. But like, ultimately, that's not the point of him signing. Havertz is not gone. He's still here. He's still going to do the Havertz things. Like, I don't know. And I think like with Liverpool, like, their team. I completely get Edwards is like a very intelligent man, and I would never go against that guy at all because that guy knows what he's doing. But like, I just think I'm kind of confused about this whole situation because Diaz will probably leave. We
Hmm.
expect Diaz to leave. They're going to get good money for him, but I can't see them buying a left winger if Isak comes in, and they kind of don't need to. You play Birch, play Ekatike there, just play someone there. Like you've spent too much money already. But they've also got Nunez, and this is the whole big thing. Nunez has to leave for them to get Isak in. Nunez wants to stay in Europe, but Napoli have felt like that completely fell apart because they wanted too much money. And the only offers he's getting is from Saudi. So they're going to try and push him to Saudi. But we'll see if he actually wants to go or not, because we saw it with like Tottenham trying to get rid of Richarlison, and they had their
Yep.
whole summer window planned for Richarlison to go Saudi. And then the last minute he went, nah. And then
Nah.
they couldn't buy anyone. So, like, I mean, Darwin Núñez, you
Oh,
do us a favour, just stay there. I mean, they still might sign Isak, like if they sell a Diaz, but then like, are they going to get centre back? Like, I think their team looks so good. Like, and I do think it is good, but I don't think tactically they are the best. Like, I just don't. Like, I've watched them a lot. I think Szoboszlai is last season was the real workhorse in that team. Where is he going? I thought, like you said, Wirtz is on the left. Well, Wirtz will probably play where Szoboszlai is, but then Szoboszlai was the person that covers for your right back pushing up. Well, then who's going to do that? Because Gravenberch and McAllister aren't. McAllister pushes up as well. So Gravenberch isn't even a proper DM. So, like, what is going on? Who is your
yeah.
defenders? You've got Frimpong and Kershkev. So you're going to play a back three with possession, and Kershkev's going to have the ball deeper? I mean, he's fine, but he's not like that's not the best way to use him. So you can do it with
I'm
Bradley.
presuming as well that if Gyokeres is going on, because Frimpong hasn't been a conventional right back, not for like ages and ages now. So is Gravenberch going to have to drop in between the defenders, or like what? Like, you can't just leave two on their own. It's going to be really interesting to see what they're doing,
I think
because
they're just going to get all out attack.
yeah, it's
7
going to be.
attackers.
I mean,
don't
it's
think
going to
they're
be
gonna
amazing
care.
to watch. I can't
Yeah,
wait.
they'll
Like,
probably
it
be
genuinely
fine.
can't. Apart from when they're playing against us, but there we go. Um,
I don't think, like, I see people saying that they've signed Isak, they're going to win the league, and I just like, that's just never how football works. We've seen it
mm,
last year. Like, every team is so competitive in this Prem that, like, with a bit of luck, with a bit of adaptation throughout the season, you can be good enough to win. I think Arsenal, City, Chelsea, and Liverpool will all have their own credentials to win this title this year. Like, I do think all four of them, if things go right and they sort their problems out mid-season, they could easily win the league. And I just don't, I don't see a team walking away with the league like they did last year. And I just think that only happened because of certain situations. Also, people putting Arsenal fourth is, in my opinion, crazy. But
yeah, well, I mean, talking of crazy takes, here's one from Tom. Right, so Tom has said, "Is it possible Liverpool are going to sell Salah? I know he signed a new contract, but he might have signed to protect his reputation." I can't see that happening. Like,
no,
I don't get me wrong, Isak would soften the blow, but Liverpool fans, the Scousers, will be so high again. Oh my God, we've got the best 10, we've got the best centre back, we've got the best 9, we've got the best right winger, and then suddenly go, oh, actually, Salah's leaving. I
that is
can't see that
crazy.
happen.
They're actually going to have, like, they actually are like the best in their
Possibly best
position.
goalkeeper, you could argue.
They actually have got like half of their team as like the best positioned players in the world,
Yeah.
like in their position. Well, that's insane. That is insane.
Like, but then we've seen it with Real Madrid over the years. I remember like the Galacticos, like the originals. Like, and you go through the team. Casillas probably wasn't the best in the world, but he was up there. Probably only Buffon ahead of him at the time. You had Carlos. You had then, if you kind of like Zidane, Figo, R9. Like, if you went through that team and you went, okay, like best players in their positions. But Barcelona managed to kind of overtake them because their system was far better. Then you had Xavi and Iniesta coming through, and they controlled games better. But it doesn't, football is not binary. It is easier to win if you've got the best players, like, obviously. And it's easier to win in tough moments. But it doesn't necessarily mean you're going to have the best system. And I do wonder if it causes more issues suddenly. Like, if Isak's in the middle and Salah's doing his usual work, because let's be honest, Salah deserves to be as kind of ruthless as he once. But he's so selfish because of that. I wonder how that works. If he's cutting inside, constantly shooting, and he's stood there going, "Hang on a minute, like what's going on here?" Like things like that. How does it work? How do you fit in verts? How do you do this? But and yeah, like Ryan says, PSG did it a few years ago. Like you had Neymar, Messi, Mbappe. They've been better off since all of them have left. So, although to be fair, they've still got the highest wages in world football. It's not like they're skimping out, but quite often the biggest names don't mean the biggest trophies. So we'll wait and see. It's going to be wicked. I cannot wait. It's going to be so good, so good. But we'll go on the next one because breaking news. Here we go. Gyokeres. See what I did there?
I did see what you did.
I'm a dad. I'm allowed these. Victor Gyokeres, his management put out some pictures. I love how Fabrizio did this as well after the original video went out. And he has put the biggest stamp of his name on there. I was like, dude, like, is there any need for that? I had to leave it in. I thought I could make it smaller, but I wanted to keep it there because it's so outrageous. Gyokeres on his way for a medical. Apparently, he's had this medical about 7 times in the last couple of days.
Apparently, he's flown to London 14 times. Has he done that?
Like, to be fair to some of the like kind of news aggregators and ITKs, I heard someone had said to me, and I was like, I mean, I don't. But to be fair, I'm not trying to make money out of like putting out tweets going, "Gyokeres is on his way." Like, I'm not doing that, but. I mean, he is on the way. He is signing. But that's not the biggest news because we're all expecting this. Oh, Tom, what a great joke. Anyway, we'll move on. The big news is he is taking over the number 14 shirt. So, you know, following in the footsteps of the great Thierry Henry, Pierre Aubameyang, and Eddie Nketiah. Save the best for last.
It's good.
I mean, what do you think about the numbers? Are you like a numbers man? Are you like one of these people who are like, numbers are sacred, the right back should always wear number 2, the goalkeeper has to wear number 1? Like, what are your thoughts, genuinely? Like, what?
Honestly, my outlook on that and like most of life is like with the small things I don't particularly care. Like for instance, like, oh, like he took his medal off, his second place medal. Like I couldn't care less. Like I think it's irrelevant, and I think people deep stuff like mentally sometimes, which is just not that it just doesn't matter. And like with numbers, I always think this as well. Like I just don't
Sorry, Thomas just put crown me as the victor. These are so bad. I love him. I absolutely love him. I got tears in my eyes. Oh my God. Carry on, mate. Sorry.
But like, I just think like with like, I don't know, with numbers, I just don't care too much because I'm just like, like, I don't know. I'm just not like someone that is really bothered about small things in football. Like, I just don't care. I think people deep think sometimes too much. But I do think when it comes to numbers, and there is sometimes an auraless number. I can't remember. There was a player that signed recently for a team. It was a big player, and I remember saying to someone that is auraless, and it just puts me off. And it does put me off sometimes. And I can't remember. It was for someone, and I remember looking at it and being like, "Oh, that's like rank. Like, why is he that number?" And I do think I was talking to people on Twitter about this like all week. I basically kept putting tweets out being like, what number do you think he's gonna get? And I got loads of responses about like maybe he should be well, because obviously 17 was the one that he had at Coventry, and everyone was like, oh, he might get that. But Zinzi's 17. And then obviously you can't get 9 because of Jesus. We will get into Jesus, but obviously Jesus is still here right now.
And Zinni only recently changed it as well, didn't it? Was it last year he changed it over? Yeah.
So it was kind of like, what number is he going to have? And I was just like, we should give him the 14. Like, I know people have opinions. I don't really care. Like, I just think like he's our big boy striker. He is our big guy up front. The 14, I know it means a lot to Arsenal because of Omri, but obviously, like, Walcott had it for years. And obviously, Walcott was a good player. He's got over 100 goals for Arsenal, but it's Walcott. You know, Eddie had it. Like, Aubameyang had it. Obviously, Aubameyang was that big boy striker when he came in.
Yeah.
And he came in and Lacazette was already number 9. So it's like, you know, in that situation, it's the same here. Like, what number is he going to have? Like 20, 22? That's auraless. Like, he
I
needs
mean,
to have that.
yeah, the way I work, right? Because I'm the older demographic, aren't I? As you always say. I look at it like, I think if you're 1 to 11, the numbers have to kind of coincide with the right positions. Like I don't like a William Gallas wearing a number 10. Like, what
That's
is that?
crazy.
Like, I just know that is not on, right? So for me, like, a number 1 is a number 1. A number 9 plays as a number 9. Like, we call it a number 9 for a reason, yeah. So like number 2 right back, number 3 as a left back, number 11 as a left winger. Like, that's
That's
kind of
why
how I look
Odegaard's
at it.
number 8,
Yeah, like,
because he's still 10.
there's like occasional ones where like I look and I go, oh, okay, Ian Wright, well, number 8, but he was an absolute don. Cool. You wear whatever you want, righty. All right. But outside of those numbers, unless the number is kind of like our number 14, unless it has a link to a particular player or like a particular, I don't know, year or something like that, I don't care. Like, if you're wearing number 92, like, whatever, I could not care less. To me, the number 14, my personal opinion, it should have been retired with Henri. I look at it and I go, at that time, what the club should have gone is, right, number 14, it's never been a big number, you know, for our club. Who really is going to go, oh, God, I always wear number 14. Ironically, I played as a kid, which
Yeah,
is so
my
funny.
14's my lucky number. I always wore 14 as
Yeah,
well.
I wore it as a kid because
I love
I
14.
was too young to be in the school football team. I was only like a year 4, and then they put me in, so the number 14 was the only shirt left. So ironically, I would be wanting that number. But I do think Arsenal should have retired it when Henri left the club. Now it's a case of like, when you've moved it on several times, you can't retire it now. It's too late. So I just look and go, I like the fact he's taken it, because I have a feeling he's probably asked for that number. There's something about him as time goes on. I like him more and more. He doesn't even play for the club, but I just look at his attitude. I can imagine they've talked to him, said, right, okay, medical, blah blah, and he's gone, by the way, yeah, I want the 14 shirt. They've gone, oh, okay.
I think he did. But I think all the other
He
numbers are like auraless.
didn't he make like a comment as well about like, I would score more headers if there are more crosses like onto
Yeah,
a head,
this guy's
and like things like
hilarious.
he said about, you know, the golden boot and the ratio, and he was like, well, if you compared me to anyone else, I score more than anyone else. Like, these ratios don't exist. Like, there's something about him where I think he views himself as the best 9 in the world. Like, I think he looks, and point proven, right? If you look at his record against Isak for Sweden, I think he scored 1 goal less, but I think he's played like half the games of Alexander Isak for Sweden. Like, I think he probably looks across sometimes and goes, I'm better than you. Like, I am a better finisher than you. And whether he's right or not, doesn't matter. Because when you've got that kind of confidence, a lot of the time you kind of overperform, and you look at his XG and stuff, like, I'm really looking forward to him. And God, it's going to sell, isn't it? Like, Gyokeres coming, number 14, new shirt. It's going to sell like it's a marketing dream, isn't it? Let's be honest.
Yeah. I got 2 points that are very different to each other, but something I wanted to get off my chest. The first one's like not that deep. So like, it's quite funny how we differentiate, because I actually hate retiring numbers. I just think it's like, I think it's kind of like cringe a little bit. I just think like,
Really?
yeah, because they do, like in the NBA, like, oh my God, they retire like, all the numbers. They have like no numbers left, and I'm like, why? Like, I'd rather. I know that sometimes you're not going to get a player that carries that legacy on, but ultimately, I don't think that changes it too much. I with the Yotta situation, I think that makes sense to retire that given the situation. But I think from due to footballing reasons. Like Bellingham, what is it, 22, got retired at Birmingham because he played them when he was like
I mean,
16.
yeah, but that
I
you
just think
can't
like who
compare that
cares?
to like a Totti playing for Roma or a
Yeah,
Henry playing
but
for
like, but
Arsenal.
I
Like,
feel like it's more iconic having like, because like Ronaldinho used to wear like 99 or 80 or like some random numbers,
yeah,
and I think
yeah.
that makes it cooler. But like, I don't know. I just don't agree with retiring numbers. I just think like if I'm a kid and I like my lucky number's always been 14. Before I even supported Arsenal, when I was like 3 years old, I loved 14. It was always my number. And then I realised, oh, I'm Henry and then Walcott and then all the history around it. But I've always liked 14, and I would have been like annoyed that if I was like 10 years old, I not couldn't get like a 14 shirt because like. I don't know. No, it's just Henry. Oh yeah, he retired 10 years ago. I don't know. Like, I just think that
You'd
like
probably like switch the numbers around or something, or like, I mean,
But like, also, I want to say on Gyokeres, this is the last point I'm going to talk about Gyokeres because we have spoken about him unholy amount the last like 2 months.
yeah, true.
And I've done so many videos on it, it's unreal. But I have seen so many. I'm calling them out. I don't care. I'm calling them out. You can clip this. I've
Let's
seen
go.
so.
Oh, hang on, hang
I've
on. Let's
seen
wait. Let's do this. Okay, go for it.
I have seen the just a stupid amount of stupid TikToks about Victor Gyokeres at Arsenal. Is unreal, and there is people that sit there, maybe pretending, maybe they do have a I have a coaching background, I've got a coaching badge, and this is why Arsenal are going to be bad with Gyokeres. But why does people not like? People just don't take context in any situation ever, do they? They look at Gyokeres and they go, well, if you put him up front for Arsenal, he doesn't do the things that they want. Well, I don't know. Maybe some realization, guys, that one, Arsenal might change their system a little bit to maybe fit him in. Maybe two, the players that we sign, like Zubamendi, Madueke, maybe Eze, will change how we play. And three, I've said this so many times, Victor Gyokeres is not coming in to be Arsenal's number 9 striker, number 40, whatever, to play every single game. He will be a rotational option with with Kai Havertz for the entire season. If one's injured, then one will play more. But they will be in and out of teams depending on who we play against. And Gyokeres is more likely probably to play against weaker sides than I think the bigger sides, where we'll probably see Havertz play a bit more, especially at the start. So I see people say about this whole Gyokeres thing, and people are like, well, Gyokeres, is he going to? He's not going to play every game. It's not do or die if he plays for Arsenal. I think people have seen this as like a project destroyer. How? He's not even going to start every game. How is that a project destroyer? He's just going to be on the bench some games. Like this whole summer's about getting Arsenal better backups or better rotational options so the main players don't get injured enough and we can actually change the system up sometimes. Gyokeres helps us do that for £55 million. That is a good price. Like, it's the same with Šeško would have come in. Šeško would have helped the tactics, but he still wouldn't have started. And I still think there's a world where Havertz and Gyokeres play better together. Like, I still think that happens. So I just think I've seen so many people say, "Oh, well, he's not that good at holding the ball up." So Arsenal want their strikers to come back and hold the ball up. Who cares? He won't make him do that. Arteta's not stupid. He's not going to be like, "Oh yeah, let's just let him do it and let's hope for the best." He's going to change it up, man. And I'm so frustrated because I've seen so many TikToks about he's going to be a flop or he's going to be good. No one knows how he's going to do. If you ask analysts, you ask anyone, no one knows. And I don't care if you're a sporting fan or you pretend you're a fan of these clubs. I've watched enough of him to be like, I still don't know where he's going to go, but there's things that he will benefit the club, and there's things that will probably not be the best. But ultimately, who cares if we sign other players? Like, it's not the do all end. So, like, I don't know. It's just so frustrating. I just think Arsenal, like, I get this with a lot of fans, and I think Twitter doesn't help, and even Arsenal fans are like this. But I just want to be happy about signing Gyokeres. And I feel like every time I see a tweet or anything about Arsenal fans being happy, there's all these comments being like, he's going to be a flop, or
Oh
you go on
God,
TikTok.
yeah.
And it's like, can we just be happy with our player? You know, you're going to sign your old players and be happy with them. Like, and I just don't think they're very good, like Man City. But I'm not like sitting here criticizing them. I just go, oh, not for me. You know, but it's just you just never can nowadays. And I think I don't know this whole. I hope he scores 400 goals next season and breaks the record. I've had enough.
Mate, I love that. That's very impassioned, Reece. I love it.
But,
I love it.
all week that's been building up. All week.
The thing is, I'm Ryan, mate. I'm with you. Like, I can't wait to see him start. I don't care. Like, I said this a few weeks ago. Like, just get the striker in. We know regardless, we need a cover for Havertz. I prefer the option. Like, for me, I know like you're a big fan of Havertz, and Havertz for me, he has exceeded my expectations as a number 9. He's given us lots of different kind of outs. So playing over the press, his ability to bring other players into the game. Like when Odegaard was missing, he kind of filled that void a lot of the time. Like he has had like lots and lots of positives. Like even the amount like he works, I didn't realize how good he would be at pressing, at times leading our press. But being someone who's grown up and watched players like Ian Wright, Anelka, like Thierry Henry, Van Persie, like I've been privileged to watch these players live. To then watch Havertz, who's a completely different type of striker, for me, it's just not what I want in my striker. And it's different for everyone. You know, everyone will have their own choices. And if you say to someone like, oh, who's your favourite striker? Their choice is going to be different to someone else. Like it's just, that's the way it is. I'm just so pleased we've got someone in that we know kind of what he's going to do. Like regardless, he might not do amazingly doing it. He might do. We don't know that part, but at least we know, okay, what's he going to do? He's going to try and run in beyond, and he is going to shoot. As simple as that. Like, cool, that's fine. In terms of transition, that gives us lots and lots of opportunities. In terms of like late on in games, if we need to bring him on, that gives us loads of different options now. Like, there's obviously been something that the club have looked at and gone, right, really good. And the other side of the deal is that, to me, Arteta's looked at someone in Andrea Berta and gone, do you know what? I'm going to listen to you. Like, I'm not going to keep pushing this Sesko thing. Fine, get him through the door, get the deal done. And in terms of the money, the deal is really good. And he obviously wants to be there, and that's just an added bonus. But it's going to be really, really good. I can't wait. Number 14, a little bit of this. Everyone's happy. Going back to this quick question, though, from Ryan. Has anyone ever been the number 69? I think Joe Willock played as the number 69. There's probably someone else, but that rings a bell. So there we go. I think Joe Willock.
Can they go? I don't know if they can go over 50 now unless they're a youth player.
Yeah, I think there's something like that, isn't there?
Yeah, it's so boring. That's what they do.
Yeah, I was going to say the
That's
same.
what they do in the Bundesliga, because I did Balotelli. He's like 42 or something like that. He's some number like that. And I remember in the Bundesliga, like you can only go up to like 45 or something. And I was like, I can't remember. It's something like that. Someone I know that like they were going to go to the Bundesliga and they knew they couldn't get their number, so they didn't want to go.
No, that can't be true. Surely.
I would do that. If I'm going to a team and they don't give me 14, I'm not going. I'm not going. I'm not going.
Fair enough. Right, let's move on to the next one, because there has been another confirmed signing. I mean, we saw the photos early because, you know, we're losers and we basically check absolutely everything. But Mascara has signed. Really nice videos as well. Like, I haven't liked the actual announcement videos, but the behind the scenes videos I've really liked. I like the interaction with, you know, his dad breaking down in tears. If you haven't watched it, essentially they showed a quick like welcome video, which in itself I found really weird. They're all sat there watching this really awkward 15-second video saying, welcome to Arsenal. It was really odd. But the dad broke down in tears, and I really liked that because he was obviously like, you know, my son's made it. This is the pinnacle of football, and he's there. The other thing I really liked is Arteta trying to tap up his son, or his younger brother, being like, yeah, he's not a bad player. He could be a successor. Like thoughts generally about Mascara, like are people like me getting carried away again? This is an amazing deal. He's what we need in terms of squad building, or you know, what are your thoughts at the moment, mate?
I think like I've actually like obviously I spoke about Mascara a lot. I think when I was confused was like, how have we just got this guy for £30 million? And kind of had a free run at him. I know Como and Dortmund were the two teams that were talking to him, but respectfully, like Como and Dortmund are like very good teams that are buying incredible youth prospects. I mean, we saw Dortmund go in for Waneri, which is a very smart move, but obviously these are teams that are very different to Arsenal, and Arsenal are a team that he can probably develop and get some rest because he's played too much in his career and like develop under players. I think I was like confused about that a little bit. Like, why are we the only sort of teams going in for him? I heard about like a lot of Prem teams specifically going in for youngsters in the centre back role who they go for mostly aerials. So City have basically signed every single centre back they've signed the last like year has been like very high on aerials, and obviously Mascara is not. That's his biggest weak point, really. So I think that he kind of snuck under a lot of these like data lists that these other clubs had, and
Yeah.
we didn't really mind. Like I've seen so many people say about this whole like him not good in the air. I'm not too bothered. I also have so many good players in the air. I said to you, like, you just need sometimes you need something different. Like, if he is a better ground jeweler, we can still live with that. He's 6'3". He'll figure it out. Like he'll be like in my opinion, Saliba is not the best player in the air. Like he never has been. But he's 6'4", and he just figures it out well enough to be fine. And he's a brilliant ground jeweler. So it's not like the
Yeah.
biggest deal in
Yeah.
the world. So like Mascara for the price we got him for is crazy. The behind the scenes videos are like the thing I love. I've always loved them. They're like I don't even care about the announcement. I wait for the behind the scenes videos because they're just so fun seeing like just the family and everything work. And like
Yeah.
obviously his dad's emotional. Apparently already today that Gyokeres' dad's been like emotional all day. Apparently, can't wait to see the behind the
Wasn't
scenes
there
of
something
Gyökeres.
about him crying that the deal might break down? I'm sure there was.
Yeah, there was. I don't know if that was true or not, but I've heard that like he did cry today or whatever, like when he was there. I'd just be so the Gyökeres like behind the scenes is gonna go so off.
Oh, it's
But
going to be
like
lit. It's going to be so
it's gonna
good.
be so good. Like I just that's the excitement. But like Mascara, like this is one of them signings where we can't lose. Like, you know, if
Mm.
he's not good enough, we just reset him for 20 mil next like 2 years, 3 years time. It's absolutely fine to take a risk on these sort of players. We need the
Yeah.
backup for Saliba, and he can cover left centre back as well. We need more of these signings. I know they got a bit scared with Lokonga and Tavares, but like we didn't spend any money. We spent 14 mil on Lokonga, about 20
Yep.
mil overall, and we spent 7 mil on Tavares, and like it is what it is. Like, I don't mind them at all. I think this is perfect. And uh, a lot of people are saying this is like the Berta idea. Like, he loves these sort of signings. So it'd be so interesting
I think
to
Berta
see how
tried
like
to sign him previously, didn't he, as well, for Atleti? But I'm not 100% on that. I mean, in Europe's top 5 leagues in the last 2 years, he's had more starts and more appearances than any other player under the age of 21, which is mad. Like 70 starts, I think, and 73 appearances. So that to kind of put that in context, I think it's 11 more appearances than Desiree Doué, 15 more matches than Savinho, and that's like I think something like 1,000. Oh, let's have a look. I think I might have it on the next slide. Here we go. So I think it ended up over 1,300 more minutes than Lamine Yamal. So just in terms of like the amount of experience he already has at a young age, just shows the trust that they've put in him. He's unbelievable. I think the only players in the Liga at that age to have as many starts was Laporte in 2015 and Aspi in 2009. So he's, he has he's stepping in the right direction in terms of following the right footsteps of like true professionals, but he's just really good, really good. Like obviously heading is a big weakness. Maybe that's something that we can work on. And in terms of who he's surrounded by, he is surrounded by the best in the business, let's be honest. So hopefully that's something that he can improve. Maybe it's just an adjustment in terms of him watching the flight of the ball or how he sets himself, or it could be like a number of things, but hopefully it's something that over time we can kind of get out of him. But I've got his pass progression map. Couldn't get my words out there. And like Ryan says, you play football with your feet. And we're a team that's always in possession. I think out of like the top 6 players with most passes, he was number 1 for the players outside of the top 6 in La Liga. So he's completed, I think, 88% of his passes. And then this last season, it rose to like 91 or 92%. So he is very, very adept in this. He's also, hang on, let me have a look here. I have got my notes here a minute. Because, sometimes I make notes, Reece. So Saliba's true tackle success rate is 79.5%, which is second in the league. It's 81% for Milenkovic. Mascara was 76.7. She's only a couple of percent below Saliba. The good thing with that is because it's true tackle success, is he either has to gain possession from it. So it can't just be a successful tackle. He's got to actually gain possession, or it's got to go out of play. So the other team loses possession fully, and then they have to regain it, obviously, from the throw. Like, he is very, very good. Like, he's able, as you say, left centre back, right centre back. I think he's played right back as well at some point. And I don't know if you saw it, because I mean, you're like me, you watched like obscene amounts of football. The one game where he kind of missed, I think that was the 7-0 or the 7, was it 7-0, 7-1 game against Barcelona, where they got trounced.
Yeah.
So they fell apart without him. So regardless of him being really young, I think he's been a real key cog, and then, you know, came in from injuries and stuff, and he's just been a mainstay in that team. Yeah, I think it's a very, very good buy. Very good buy. And as Ryan says, he's young, he'll develop in this team.
It'd be so interesting to see how many minutes we give him, because he's got to rotate. He's got to rotate eventually. Now he signs all these options to rotate. Like, how much is Mascara going to play? Like, when is he going to be trusted for a Prem game? Like, these sort of things are questions I have. Like, I do think as soon as Saliba's not injured, you'll probably see Mascara come in. Maybe not. You might even see that Ben White over him, actually. But I don't know. It'd be interesting.
Let's move on from Mascara, though, because we have got this one as well. So this is our last piece of news of the day. By the way, guys, thanks for everyone tuning in. If you haven't done so, please make sure you like the video. Really helps push this out. And subscribe if you haven't as well. We are here every Friday. If you haven't as well, go subscribe to Reece's channel on FOKLZ YT. You know how it is, as he'll say. The last piece of news, Jesus. So, Hand of Arsenal, who, I tell you what, he has been on fire this summer, came out and said Berta is exploring the potential sale of Gabriel Jesus this summer. Clubs in his native country of Brazil have inquired, as have some European clubs. Let's see if this situation develops further. I know, for me personally, I think it's an obvious thing to get him out of the club. If he manages to get Jesus out while he's not meant to be even kind of fit for, like, you know, basically the whole year, that's unbelievable business. Like, to get someone out who can't play, and with the injury record that he had previously, you know, prior to that, I think that's amazing. Considering as well, Tomiyasu, you could argue not amazing business, not getting any money for him, but it was a termination of contract, so we a mutual termination. Sorry, so we didn't have to pay out the rest of his year. I think this will be amazing business if we can get him out. I think Alex from the Different Knocking Cannon podcast is a little bit different. He thinks we can get more out of Gabriel Jesus. I think his time's done. I don't like him out on the right too much. He's not a true winger. His time at number 9, he just lacks that explosiveness now and those quick feet. I just don't see why we keep him. We ship him on and try to get some money while we can. What do you think? Do you think we can actually get rid of him, or is this just kind of, you know, we're trying to, but, you know, we've got to wait till January.
This has got to be like, if he does get him out, like, genuinely, I know. The thing is, I look at things like how I look at everything. I look at, like, situations of money and, like, the contracts, and I all the time say that, like, you just need to know when to sell and need to know when to cut your losses. And I just don't think I do think I think the clubs struggle with it, and I also think fans really struggle with it a lot. Like, especially with, like, a lot of players. Like, I think about so many players that I'm like, they should have gone even before they did. And Arsenal fans are, like, complaining, like Ramsdale or, like, all these players. Like, in my opinion, as soon as they're not playing, get rid of them. Like, that's just how I see things. And, like, with Jesus, like, my opinion the whole time has just been like, we need to cut our losses. Like, it's the same with Tomiyasu. I'm Tomiyasu's like #1 fan. Like I love Tomiyasu, but terminating his contract was an incredible thing that we got. We didn't have to pay any wages. We didn't have to pay it. Like I know we didn't get any transfer fee, but it's not always about the transfer fee. Like we just
Yeah.
need to. It's the whole thing about Aubameyang. I remember that one of the reasons why I started a YouTube channel is because I was so frustrated about the like what everyone was talking about of Aubameyang. I was like, as soon as we fell out of Aubameyang, but even before that, before he got given his new contract, I was adamant he should not be given a new deal. I was so adamant. I was like, he is 31. He's going to go on 300k a week, and he's like, we don't even know how long he's going to be good for. And 4 months later, like all this stuff happened. He fell out with the
Hmm.
club, and then we got rid of him. And I remember, like in that summer, I was like, even my friends were like, "Nah, he should stay." And I was like, "I don't care if he's our best player. We need to get rid of him. It's not worth giving him a new contract. He is 31." And it's the same I feel like with Jesus. Like he's like we were going to sell him not last January. Was it last January? I don't know if it was last January or the January before, but there was a January. Yeah, it was
Well,
last January. I think there
last
was
January.
rumors. And he was going to go to Palmeiras, his former team, which got a picture of him there. But unfortunately, that's when he got the ACL tear. Also, I don't know if we would have sold him because he had to play because we started getting more injuries as well. But
Yep.
there was rumors that they wanted to come in and buy him, and they ended up buying Vitor Roque, who's basically the other one, for around 28 million euros, and they ended up buying Vitor Roque instead. And Vitor Roque is awful, and it's been crap for them. And he's got 3 goals. So like, and he was awful in the Club World Cup when I watched him as well. So they clearly wanted to buy a striker in that way, and he was always good. He always wanted to go back to Palmeiras and be a player there. So I really thought that was the opportunity to get rid of him, and it didn't work out because of whatever happened. But he's got 2 years left on his deal, I think. I think he's got 2 years left. Um, and it's just like he's on stupid amount of money. We don't know how much. I don't know how much he's on, but he is definitely our top 3 earners at the club at least. He's
Mm.
definitely in the Saka, Havertz, him, Rice sort of. He's definitely in that sort of conversation. And like the thing is, he is a good player, and I do think when he leaves the club, there'll be all this talk about the same we saw with Tomiyasu, where people will be like, he was a flop or flop signing. He's a flop signing based on the injuries, but not the player. The player was incredible. We all knew he was incredible. There was definitely moments where he wasn't great. Like I'm not going to pretend that he was brilliant for like a year. Like even when he came back for it, he was just not great. But last year he was very good for that month where he was actually fit. And then years ago when we signed him before he got injured as well, he really did revolutionise the club and how we played in many ways. I also think that he is a better left wing player than a right. I've not like a lot of creators think like keep going on about him being a right, and I've always just thought he's better on the left. I know it's just a me thing. I just think he looks more comfortable out there, especially because he likes going to the left more
Yeah, he
anyway. I
does ball
think,
to let. Yeah.
and I did hear a report like a couple of weeks ago or days ago. I don't know if it's true, but they said that they kind of see Jesus as a backup left winger in case. Um, so I do think like maybe getting rid of him might, open up another spot there if Trossard's to leave as well. So I just think like with his wages, given the fact he doesn't play, given the fact that me and you have spoken about how we don't see him really playing a game for the club again or like a start for the Prem, like we've said this. Havertz and Gyokeres are probably the 2 strikers. Maybe you can move Havertz into midfield, but like who cares? Like if you buy Eze, probably not. I think he's more going to be a
Yeah.
striker. So we don't need Jesus on this wages not to play. It's the same thing I had about many of our other players who are on incredibly high wages. They just need to be gone. And it's just like if we get, but if, I don't even care about the money. I said to people, this is just a situation where you just get rid of him to cut your losses, get the money off the book. If we get 5 to 10 mil for him, good, like cool. I don't care. Like just getting him out of the club would be great because his value's not going to go up, in my opinion. His value's not going to increase next year. His value's not going to increase the year after. So it doesn't matter. Like, it doesn't matter. The value doesn't matter. So if Berta can do this and Tomiyasu, that has got a lot of the wages that are just not getting used that we needed. And I think
Yeah.
that is like arguably his best work of the summer, really.
Yeah, it's funny, isn't it? Because it will just go amiss. I brought it up in Capology. They're saying £265,000 a week, which puts him second. So Kai Havertz on his base salary is 280 grand a week. I mean, I don't really know what more there is to say about Gabriel Jesus. We all loved him, and I think if you're looking at the transfer as a whole, I think it's been relatively good value. He came in, a lot of pressure on him, to be fair. Do you remember everyone bought him for fantasy football? I think he was like the most bought player when he first went to Arsenal. So there was like actually big pressure on him. He started off was on fire. Obviously, had that horror injury when we had the World Cup in the winter. What a fantastic idea that was. Thanks for that. And he's been, I guess you could say, he's been like a really big component of the rise of Arsenal, the resurrection of us, having been out of Europe and stuff, and really like a full rebuild, let's be honest. He's been a big part of that. It just so happens that him and Zinchenko, who were the kind of the catalyst for it and the spark that we needed, we've moved past them now. And it's not really a big surprise. I guess some people thought that maybe Jesus could develop even further, having come from City and then being like the main man. But surprise, surprise, he wasn't the main man at City, and now we're challenging for titles. He's not the main man for us. It is just what it is. I think we should be able to get some money for him. If Berta can get 10 mil, brilliant. Get 10 mil, get his wages off. I think if he leaves for free, I'd be a bit like, oh, come on. I see so many players who are far worse than Jesus go for, at least 10 mil. But I think it's just
Brazil
annoying.
Could help us. Brazil could help us a lot here.
I
think
do
he could go there.
Happens.
I think Brazil teams have money. Like they're selling children for like 60 mil nowadays. Like, Panamera's, you could cut your losses on Vitor Roque and get him in instead. Like, I know you've got money. I know you sold some some players for a lot of money. Like, also, I like it's a weird situation because he isn't back for. It looks like October. It looks like he's coming back around late October, November. So like in Brazil terms, that is like the end of the season. Their season ends in December. So maybe you can bring him back and hope he gains fitness to like clinch you that title or compete or whatever's going on in that situation. But I cannot see many European teams get him. That's why I always thought like he would leave in January for a Brazilian team before the season started, and makes kind of a lot of sense. I also don't know what his like opinion is about Brazil teams in general. We know he has a lot of love for Palmeiras, but if Palmeiras go, we don't want to spend that money. We've got Vitor Roque, even though he's not as good, but like, we'll believe in him because we did spend a lot of money on him a year ago. Like, does he care? Does he care about that rivalry? Is he going to go to any of their deep rivals? I don't know. Like, they do take that stuff kind of seriously in Brazil, but then when they're old, they all do kind of just go to every team ever. So it's kind of weird, but. So maybe. So it's a really weird situation. I would love for Brazil to help us out though, because he is a player that, like, if he isn't injured, he'd be one of the best players in the Brazilian league easily. Like, he'd be so good, and he is so talented. And it's like the same with about Nelson. Like, we should include Nelson in this Palace deal. And I get his injuries are a concern, but if he counts a 10 to 15 mil of that budget, he'd still be a great player for Palace. Doesn't have to start. He can come into the team some games, and he'd be a great winger. He is a good player. So, I think it's a win-win. It's the same with Vieira as well. I will say that, like, we need to. It's quite clear that I think. I mean, it looks like we are ramping up for Eze. Things seem to be going a lot quicker, I think, since the Gyokeres deal is like kind of done. And I still think we are interested in Rodrigo. Now, I don't think that'll happen probably because of the fee and the wages and whatever's going on there. But we still might be interested in a winger. There is other wingers we've been spoke to. Gordon. I know Newcastle are already like in a whole load of stuff. So I don't think that'll happen.
Could you imagine them losing Gordon and Isak? Oh my gosh, that
would be crazy.
The head loss. I would love it.
But like, I think like when it comes, like, I think like our business isn't done, but we need to sell players, and there hasn't been too much movement on the sales. This is the first time we've really heard about this. Like, I have heard that Trossard has been offered for £20 million, and there is teams that want him, but we don't know if they're willing to pay that money or whatever. If we get like 50, even if we got 15 mil for Trossard, that'd be an incredible deal. He's 30 for a winger. Like, wingers at that age are just not usually worth like anything. And also,
what did we pay? 20, 25?
We paid like 21 mil and then 27 with add-ons. So it's not even that. It's not even that, like, we've not even lost that much at all. So that's absolutely fine. If we can get 20 mil, that's perfect. If we get 15, it's fine. Like, getting rid of. And then I think if Trossard leaves, if Jesus leaves, we've now got that space in that attack that people have been talking about. When Neri can play a lot more now. I know he's more right-sided than there left, but then you can buy an Eze, then you can go in for another winger. Like, there's definitely options out there. I feel like we're not done in this winger market, but I don't know. Like, I've gone through 400 wingers now. Like, who is even out there at this point? Maybe we just get Leao. I can't see it.
I would be so up for it if we got and this, I'm not saying this is happening, but I mentioned it earlier. If we got an Eze and a Leao, that changes the shape of the squad like massively. Leao doesn't have to be the starting left winger. Like most likely, financially and the pressure put on Arteta, he would have to start. But if there's any team in world football that could get away with a Maverick and someone not defending as much, I mean, we're one of them. Us and Inter Milan are like the two teams you go, yeah, out of possession. They're pretty good. And it also just, to me, it just excites me. In terms of like, if we're playing games, for example, like against a City or against a Real Madrid, like we did, or whoever it may be, we can actually sit back and you can play a Leao on the counter. You can play an Eze on the counter. You can play a Gyokeres on the counter. We'll actually have some pace and some people with directness, ability to like just turn and go, which we haven't had. Even Madueke, like people are kind of not. I wouldn't say that they're sleeping on the transfer. It's a lot of money, more than I would have paid, and it's not the profile that I would have gone for, like number one. But if these other players go through, suddenly that transfer looks a little bit better because you're going, that's another player that can go, can take on a man, can actually take players out of the game and take them out of their systems. So it will be interesting. We've got some questions, all right? So question time on the FOKLZ podcast. First one, who's getting relegated?
The three promoted teams. Done.
I wonder.
Sunderland look good though.
Brentford could be in trouble. I wonder. Just a sneak. Like I agree with you. If you're going with anyone, it's probably going to be the three coming up.
It really does depend on Keith Andrews. Like he is literally a set piece coach. I have absolutely no idea what his tactical philosophy is going to be. Like genuinely, and the thing is, they're going to have to change it a lot. Like they are losing. They have lost their captain, their manager, and their two best players. It looks like Vissa and Mbeumo. Yeah. Which is tough, but they still have a really solid defense. Like Collins is a very, very good defender, and he's just sitting there still. Like they've changed their goalkeeper out, which I was a big hater of Flecken. And I know I watched a video like a couple of months ago saying he should be goalie of the season. I was like, I don't think he's that good. He had a better season last year than he did his first year, but and I saw so many Brentford fans were so happy that he left, and he made a mistake on his Leverkusen debut as well. So I saw that a lot of people were very happy about that. But Sunderland are the real dark horse. Like they have bought some incredible youngsters. They already had loads of great youngsters. They have been known for buying incredible elite young talent for over the last couple of years, which has rejuvenated that club. Granit Xhaka at Sunderland, like that is an elite signing. That is like an A+ signing for a team like that. For someone who's already like, he is a quality player that can play in the Champions League. He is experienced in the Premier League as well. He's physical, strong. He's a leader. I think their midfield looks amazing with all the players they've signed. Maybe they need a little bit more in that attacking areas, but if Sunderland could sort it out, they're not miles away, in my opinion. They're not miles away from staying in the league.
Would you have preferred Xhaka or Norgard?
Norgard. The thing is, I'm very much like, when things are done, things are done. And when we sold Xhaka, I know in hindsight, when we sold Xhaka, a lot of even people I know were like, we probably shouldn't have done that. And I guess in hindsight, from that one season we could have won, maybe we shouldn't have, because he kind of tinkered with the midfield a bit too much and it didn't particularly work. And then we played Havertz up front. But I was all for selling Xhaka because I'm like a guy that looks at money, like £22 million, and he was 30. And I was like, we're never going to we sell awfully. Like getting that sort of money for an old guy like that after he had 3 or 4 pretty poor seasons, bear in mind, and then had one really good season playing in a different role. So I was just like, I just get rid of him then. And things didn't work out, but I don't think because we didn't sign the player to replace him, it means the sale was a bad option. I think that's on other things. Like we bought Havertz, whatever. Like I don't think that's on selling Xhaka. I think Xhaka would be good for us now, but I don't know. I feel like Norgard as well is the player that you can sit on the bench.
I mean, I don't like Xhaka sitting anyway.
Yeah.
Like you say, you look at those seasons where he got isolated and he just got done. Essentially, like just layman's terms, he was found out. It wasn't good, and then he shifted position. We shifted tactics, and he was so good. He was brilliant. So like for me, I don't think so, but there we go.
I do think it's funny with the probably the biggest pet peeve I have at Arsenal in the last like 10 years is the like, oh my god, Unai Emery playing Lucas Torreira as a box to box midfielder used to like it genuinely like low key though, like low key, he ruined his career. Lucas Torreira was a good defensive midfielder. Okay, yeah, a little bit maybe small, might not work now, but he was a good player
No, he was
that we spent
quality.
and he was great for Arsenal, even at a box to box while he was okay and like it just clearly wasn't his thing. And then we saw him to like Galatasaray or whatever, and he's just like in Turkey. We don't ruined his career. You know, Emery ruined that guy's career. I have no idea
Yep.
why he did it. I have no idea why he played box to box. Still don't know now. I just don't
Yeah, it
get
was
it.
weird, wasn't it? It was almost like I want to win the ball up high, but no one else was like. It was almost like the rest of the team didn't know about this tactic. It was
He
like,
played him
Lucas,
like
just go for it, just win the
He
ball.
plays him like McAllister plays now, but he didn't
Yeah,
have the whole like system around him. And also like
exactly.
Lucas Torreira doesn't cover ground like insanely quickly, so it just didn't make any sense. Like it just make him sit where he's good and he can see the game. But I don't know.
Uh,
That used to annoy me because I was so happy about Lucas Torreira when we signed him, and then they just
yeah,
let me down. So
yeah.
upset.
Do you remember the North London Derby goal as well? Like the
Yeah.
passion. I loved it. Loved it. I mean, Tom's 3. He's put Sunderland, Man United, and City after a 60-point deduction. I'll take that. Could you imagine if Tottenham or United went down this season? They go
like
and spend more money and they get worse and they go down.
I have some
Oh,
I have some like genuinely crazy opinions about Man United, and I'm like waiting because I don't want to say anything too much now. But to be a club that just came 15th and spend 130, they spent more money than us at this moment. I know Gyokeres will push us over,
yeah.
and they have bought 2 players in the positions that wasn't the biggest of need. Yes, they were needed. They weren't the biggest of need. Their midfield is awful. Buy some midfielders. Oh my god! So I
I,
cannot believe it. I cannot
and they're
believe it.
looking at, well, they were looking at Jackson, weren't they? But the most recent is Ollie Watkins. I think that's that's a good deal. Again, like if you said to me, look at the front 3 that they had last year, and then you go, I presume Cunha's going to play on the left. That would be my guess. And then Mbeumo on the right. If you then got Ollie Watkins in, you go, okay, now you got a front 4 with Bruno behind them. Brilliant, like great. You like that's really good, and it's just it's typical United. Like they moved away from the Di Maria kind of buys where you go, oh, I'm just going to buy a massive name, or the Casemiro or whoever it may be, Varane. They moved away from that. They went and got Lenny Yoro, and they seem to be like there were certain things like, okay, I can kind of understand you're thinking more about the future and the project. And then again this year, then you've got a player in Mbeumo who's brilliant, and I really like him as a player, but he's in his final year of his contract, and you get pushed and pushed and pushed for more money. You go and get Cunha, who doesn't really fit because you've already got Bruno, so you can't really play him as a 10, and he's not really a 9 for your system. I quite like Cunha for like Liverpool, but I guess he's going to play on the left now, and it's just, I look and think, oh my God, address your problems.
It's the
Crying out
same
loud,
thing.
like,
It's the same thing, isn't it? Like this is the thing. Like I don't criticize clubs I get like that I don't like. Just because I hate them. Like I never do. I've always looked at things objectively in football, and I always do. Like with any club. Like if I think Tottenham are doing good business, I'll say
mm,
Tottenham are doing good business. But United, and there's a lot of other people that do videos on YouTube that have the same problem when you criticize United. But United have done nothing that good in over 10 years. There's a reason why they are where they are. Their recruitment has been awful, and they sack and sack and sack and get new people in. Oh, we've got a new sporting guy now. It's Radcliffe. Oh, he doesn't know what he's doing either. Like, what are they doing this summer? Like, Man United fans have a right to be excited about the players they have signed, but their two best attackers are Amad Diallo and Bruno. So Bruno's going to play in a midfield pivot where he isn't going to be used for his best work
Mhm.
and can't defend. And Amad's going to be as a wing back. I mean, Amad as a wing back, I don't mind too much because he has done that a little bit more. But like, it just doesn't make any sense. I saw their preseason game against Leeds, and Bruno in the midfield. Yeah, good luck with that. With a double pivot, with anyone, with any midfield, unless it's N'Golo Kante in his prime. Good luck putting him against anyone because they just don't cover
What
the
do you think
midfield.
their lineup's going to be? Let's go through their lineup a minute, because obviously they're going to play with wing backs now. So, I mean, who's going to play in goal? Are they just going to kind of stick or twist?
Well,
Is
they
that-
want Lammers, who they've wanted for a while, but
Yeah.
apparently they want 20 mil for him, 20 million euros, which is not a lot, but they don't want to pay it because you know what United like with their money. So United even have to sell before they buy him, or they try to get Emi Martinez on loan like yesterday, and Villa rejected it. So
I missed that.
I mean,
Jeez,
Lammers is good. Like I spoke about Lammers loads for Arsenal. Like he's a really good ball playing like young keeper. Like he's like 23. But like I don't think he's like a credible right now. But who cares? Like fine, just play him. But like I mean, you've got a 50 million keeper. What's sitting on the bench then? I just okay, yeah, whatever.
I mean, that's
I don't think
United
I
all over,
don't think
let's be
Onana's
honest.
the problem, and I think they should just keep him unless they get a good offer. I've said this years, but I get why they don't like him. But yeah, like I guess so. It'll probably be one of them. I actually think their defense is like fine. I actually think their cover for their defense is good as well. Like I think Aiden Heaven isn't brilliant. Like I don't think he's like I don't care that Arsenal got rid of him. I think it just made sense. But I think he's great for
I'm in
United. I think he's a
agreement
great
there.
ball. He's a ball playing left foot centre back. That alone makes him viable. And I think like they got Yoro, they got Delit, they got Maguire, who I still think is all right. Like they've got Martinez, who wasn't very good last season.
Ryan's
Like,
just said, "Don't say too much. We play them soon." It's so true.
well, it'd be interesting to see if they play against us. Like, will they even have a striker in time? I don't think so. Like, people are talking
Probably
about
not.
Watkins. If the only deal that makes sense for Watkins is if you do a swap deal with Garnacho and 20 mil, like that I can be like both teams get the benefit there. But 60 mil for Watkins is not worth it, and that's what they want for him. Screw that. Like,
Yeah.
just keep Hoyland. I mean, I don't know about that. Just play Xerxes up front. Like, I don't know. At least when we played them first game of the season, I was worried. Well, not worried, but I was like, oh, we Old Trafford first game of the season. We never do well there. Other than like obviously we won there 2 years ago, but we're not particularly great there. And I just like, oh, I just can't be bothered. But they actually won't have their stuff together before that game. I don't think. I think they're still going to be very much in the market, and which is benefits us highly. Like we're just going to
And
play
I
them.
think we're more or less going to be ready. We might have one player coming in, like possibly, like say if we do go for a Rodrigo, that is going to be taking its time. That is a big deal. They just do. But I mean, for you, kind of looking at us, let's link this into Arsenal because we are an Arsenal-based podcast. Don't talk about United too long. Do you think Havertz is going to start? Because for me, I think Arteta just plays Havertz in that first game. I can't see Gyokeres coming in, which is a bit disappointing, and I think a lot of people will be disappointed about it. But Arteta just strikes me as the type of person that is going to be loyal first and tried and tested. He always reverts to seniority, and for him, he's going to look at Havertz and go, I can trust you to do the job that I am asking you to do. You're starting. Victor Gyokeres, you have got to earn that spot. Agree with that? Or do you think it's a case that he'll be like, let's just go for it, put Gyokeres on?
I think Havertz is going to start, but I don't necessarily think it's down to like a loyalty thing. I think it will just be more of a familiarity. Like Havertz is going to have played all of pre-season. Gyokeres is still not there. He's still got to fly to Singapore. He's going to miss half the tour. We've already spoke about how complicated it will be to fit Gyokeres in the system in certain teams and games and certain players playing. So, like, in order to like think about all them things, I think for the start of the season, you just want to be familiar with as much players as you can. You don't want to start too many new players at the start of the season, just generally, because you want to like sieve them in. So I think that like Havertz was probably always going to start the first game if he's fit. I think that makes sense. I think you're going to see Miles play, and then like in the future you see Calafiori come in and then Gyokeres for that. So I don't have an issue. And I also think Gyokeres playing against United first game, he can come off the bench in like the 60th minute and just run at them. And I think that would be fun. And I also think like for Leeds, which is our second game at home, that's more where you're probably going to see Gyokeres.
Yeah.
Right, we're going to play him against more of a low block. Let's see what you can do. Because I'm like the one thing I'm with Gyokeres, I've seen so many people say about him scoring a lot of goals against like low, like not low blocks. He's playing against like teams that have lots of space and give him that. I'm not worried about him against low blocks. I get that his movement in the box, at least with the ball, is not brilliant, but I don't really care. Like, it's just about making runs sometimes. He doesn't even need to receive the ball. It's just about getting runs in there so other people can run. We have enough attackers anyway. So I've not really been that, like, I'm not that scared for him against low blocks. I think Arteta will play him more against them low blocks
I
to
think the
find
other
them
thing
gaps.
is it frees up space for other players. Like players like Saka, like Martinelli, it will free up players. The Eze deal, well, we've talked about in the past. The Eze deal makes so much more sense with Gyokeres. Like it's suddenly you look like if you look in pairs of players, like your centre back pairing or whoever it may be. We quite often look at our right back and a right winger. Sometimes as a try with Odegaard involved as well. I look at Eze and Gyokeres and I go, that makes sense. Like I said before about his shot creating actions for Eze, and lots of them are from his own shots. I can imagine that being a real problem with Eze suddenly pulling the trigger and Gyokeres going all the time at keepers. Defenses are not going to be able to double up on Saka in the same way. They're not going to be able to pack in the same way as they usually do against us. It's going to cause problems. And it's really nice that we're going to have a different profile. I think in the past, when I was looking at Benjamin Sesko, I was looking at him more of a, like, what would I do if I was Arteta? Who is the profile that I would be going for? And I always came back to Sesko because I thought, well, he just makes more sense for that system. I think the Gyokeres thing, it's quite refreshing because it's someone different, someone who's going to ask different questions of players and of teams, ask different questions of our manager and ask different questions of our own players as well. Like Odegaard, can you slip the ball in quickly now rather than recycle possession? Like Martinelli, when I run the channels, can you come inside? Can you make that run now? Just little things like that. I think it's going to be really interesting to see how the rest of the squad develop. And like you said it earlier, it's so funny how people just look at this deal and go, well, he doesn't fit the system. He can't work. Like,
Yeah, like
we've seen it in the past. Like,
like I've seen people that have got apparently coaching badges that are like, well, he's going to make him come deeper and try and hold up the ball. It's like, how do you know Arteta's going to do that? Like Arteta changes stuff all the time. Like he has, like I make videos about every single game pretty much about Arsenal's tactical systems, and there is like enough to talk about because everything changes all the time. Like there's so much, like even against AC Milan, like even if it's small things about how quick we are with the ball, like trying to get in behind a lot more. There was clear we looked a lot different. I felt like from what I've seen before from us, and maybe that's like Zubamendi coming in, who I think was excellent. But like, I just think I just think Arteta is one of the best tactical managers in the world. I don't ever have an issue with his tactics. It's just everything else that you could talk about, like that he's probably his biggest weaknesses. His tactics and how he sets the team up is absolutely fine. It has been the entire time. Like, so I just think people just don't give enough credit, and people need to stop pretending they know it all. That's all I say. Because I don't. In all my videos and everything I do, I always say this is my opinion, but you can see it in a different way if you do. Like when I talk about stats in my videos, I make it very clear that every stat can be kind of interpreted in a bad way or a good way. It depends how you look at things. And I'm quite optimistic, so I look at things majorly in a good way, and I look at being able to improve and progress as a person. But some people don't. They just look at very negative things. But there's so many people out here that just are so negative all the time, and I don't care if it gets you views and stuff. I just think it's disrespectful. And you know what? I hope we win the league.
wouldn't that be nice? Quick question here as well from Ryan. By the way, guys, thank you so much for everyone that's been tuning in tonight. And I hope I've done myself a bit prouder than last week of, running off stage. And just so everyone knows as well, because people probably don't realize this. So After last week, when I said I felt really, really ill, I needed to stop the stream. It kind of cut it, not abrupt, but relatively. I text Reece straight after because I did actually start being sick, just so everyone's aware. So I genuinely was really, really ill. So sorry about that last week. Ryan said, do you think he'll change his style of play with Gyokeres? I think the entire system of Arsenal won't change. I think fundamentally we will stay the same in terms of like how we press out of possession, how we build up play. It will change slightly now that we've got Zubimendi. I think that's a huge deal, and it gives Odegaard license to move into different areas rather than dropping deep constantly, because Zubimendi is confident just to, basically just stay on his own. He is happy to do that. It's like he's on a little iceberg. You just leave him to float there. He is fine. So I think fundamentally, though, the team will stay the same. What will change is that when Gyokeres is on the pitch, I imagine that the way we attack and the way that we attack in different, in different areas of the pitch will change. I just can't see him asking Gyokeres to do the things that Havertz does. I think if he starts saying, I want you to drop deep and pull to the right-hand side, when we know Gyokeres likes to go forward and pull to the left-hand channel, I think if he starts asking that question, that's unfortunately that's going to be the end of Gyokeres's time at Arsenal. He's not going to be at his optimum, and like his full capacity, if you're asking him to go the opposite direction to what he's used to doing and what he's best at doing, it would just make no sense whatsoever. But Arteta, whether you're a Arteta in or Arteta out person, he is an extremely good manager, and he is not stupid. I cannot imagine he would do that. I just can't see it. But that's my opinion. Do you think systematically will change, the kind of the full philosophy of Arteta or not?
I think we will have. I actually think we will have a similar system against the Uniteds and Liverpools than we did last year. It's worked and it makes sense. Why we would. I think we're still going to play in very similar ways. I think Zubimendi does make us a bit quicker and better. But what I will say is something that Arsenal have always tried to do under Arteta is buy players that are multifunctional. They can play in multiple positions. They can play in multiple game states where we can go into a low block. I mentioned in my video the other day, but people forget at the start of last season, we were getting criticised for being 16th on the possession charts because Odegaard wasn't in the team. And we had to play Jorginho and Partey as a midfield against Tottenham away, and we just had to give up the ball and score from a corner.
Yeah, I forgot that midfield.
There was so many games like that. The Villa game as well before that was the exact same. And we did that a lot, and we gave up possession, and we kind of saw a different system. And I know, some people on Twitter are going to be like, Arsenal are better with possession. We are better with possession, but I actually think last year we arguably won. We are not that great, especially towards the end of the season when we had a lot of the ball, I felt like. But I feel like with people like Zubimendi, with people like maybe an Eze coming in, that's fine. You can still do that. But I don't think Eze is the best in every game state. I don't think Gyokeres is the best in every game state right now. And I think the thing that gives Arsenal in other games where, there's a different type of tools needed for a Leeds or a game at home, you now got them options. And instead of having one player that can do a little bit of everything, a little bit in between, like a Marino who's a bit good in every phase, now we've got a player that's really good in this phase, but not good in another phase, so you don't play him. And also I think that's better for squad depth because we've seen the injuries that you get. I think we just need more players that do different things. And I think football has kind of moved away from players that are really multifunctional. I look at most of the top elite players in the world, they're all just incredible at one or two things. They enhance that, their team get them in the right positions, and that is it. Salah, is Salah the best player in the world? Technically, no. But is he one of the best goal scorers and gets in the right positions and insane in the box in tight areas? Yes, they get him in them positions. So I know we're lucky we have Saka, who is just individually brilliant, above average, almost class at every single thing. But I think Arsenal need to move into a system where this player plays in this role, this player plays for this game, this player plays for this game.
Yep.
And that's what I'm happy about, and that's what I think will be the major real change around everyone, coming in. So that's why I'm like, I think it's I've seen so many tweets about Gyokeres thing. I think people are gonna be surprised when Havertz plays like 20, 30 games this season started. Like, I was thinking like maybe he'll play in midfield, maybe he will, but if Eze comes in, I find that even unlikelier to
Yeah.
happen. And I just think Havertz will be the rotation with Gyokeres. I don't think we're going to have a natural number one and number two. I just think some games will have Havertz, some games will have Gyokeres. Whether that will be like what games that will be, it'll be interesting. But it's not. That's why to me, like these signings are like not the be all and end all. And I do think we're getting to a future where Gyokeres can still be here. Maybe you look at selling Havertz next year. I mean, it doesn't look like there's going to be any strikers on the market by the end of next year because they're all gone. So I don't know. It's just
Unless,
so interesting.
unless the only thing, and this is a way out there thing for a striker, is that someone like an Isak, he goes, I'm staying for a year. The whole time I was talking about leaving the club and checking my options, it was to get my contract up with a release clause to leave at the end of next season. Like, that's the only thing I could see. But I mean, let's bear in mind, there was a point of last season where our answer to trying to win a game was putting Kieran Tierney at left wing and just hitting balls into the box. That was our answer.
With a
And we
centre mid
had
up front.
and we had Marino up front. Like, it's mental. Like, I think sometimes when we look at the season and we go, well, we came second, we did extremely good in the Champions League. The other cup runs weren't great in the manner that we went out. But overall, it was a good season. If you actually look at the amount of injuries and what we had to resort to in the end, this transfer window was all about plugging gaps. That was the first thing we had to do, plug those gaps. Then we've gone and lost both of our centre midfielders, so we had to plug those gaps on top. Before we even started about thinking about how do we, the kind of the main 11, how do we improve on that? Like, it is crazy the work that we've had to do. But
I, I do want to say as well. In my video yesterday, I said that I think Max Darwin this season could have a bigger impact with the same minutes that Sterling had last year. And I actually think that. I genuinely think that.
I mean, Sterling had that match. Was it Champions League where he got
Yeah,
like,
against
was it
PSV.
2 assists? I can't remember.
He got a goal and assist, I
A
think.
goal and assist, wasn't it? Yeah. Can
He
he
got
do
assist?
that?
No, it was 2 assists. He didn't score.
Was it?
I think he scored 1 goal for us, and it was that 1-yard tap in against Bolton.
Oh yeah, it was. Yeah, I think it must have been. Yeah, 2 assists. But so it depends if you're stats wise. I think effect on the game, he's gonna have a bigger effect on the games. My
I
God.
think if you gave Downman like 200 minutes, at least in the cup, he's scoring. I don't know. Before I watched him against Milan, I was high on him, but now I'm like, yeah, this guy. And the thing is, like, I get that they're young, but I do think it's a certain level. Is like if they're ready, they're ready, and the club has pushed him in the media loads. So like, I feel
Yeah, I'm
comfortable talking
surprised.
about. They've been pushing him for over like about 8 months, 9 months now. Because before like when Arteta's been talking about him, so like I feel like it's absolutely fair game to talk about, and the club have put him in a pedestal. And I do think that like he is like genuinely like at that level, like where like I think he can really contribute. Like I don't think it's a surprise. Jamal was at 16 at I know Lamazia is incredible, but he was at the like second, third biggest club in the world. People aren't gonna like that, but that's why it is. And he just played loads. He played like 30 games on his first season at 16, and like they didn't care about his age and go, oh, well, he's not ready. Like it's just Jamal, isn't it? And now he's 18. He's played like a stupid amount of games. Like I know Pedri did as well, and Gabby, and they all do, but like I just think like I know we don't have that squad space. Like I've said this a lot. I actually think Downman will be an incredible right winger. Like I think he could be such a good right winger. And unfortunately, we've got like 400 players there. But I do think there's a world where Madueke moves to the left, and I actually think before he had, I think Madueke on the left would work really well, and I think he would mean that we don't need an overlapping left back like because we're not going to get Hato, so everyone can stop with that. I was pretty happy with Kivior anyway. I was pretty
Yeah.
fine with him. I didn't care, so I'm not that
Who
bothered.
played well again.
Yeah, and he did that cross, that iconic cross. He did one against Preston, and now he's done one in. He's so good at it with the in swing. Yeah, I love it. But I just think, like, I look at Madueke and I go, he could easily play on the left. Like, I think if we signed
Hmm.
like Eze as well, we've got Eze could play on the left. Like, the options we have is great, and like I know maybe we're not going to have the summer like Liverpool. Maybe we're not, but I think our team's a lot more balanced. We have the
Yep.
best defense in the country, and it was all about just getting that forward line ready. Liverpool already had a great forward line. I mean, I would argue Salah did do a lot of the hard carrying last season, which is probably why they're trying to buy more players. But they still had like the best attack in the country. They didn't have the best defense, and have they improved their defense? I mean, I think they've got better players in. I don't know if they've improved the actual defense. I just think they've got their attack even better. Like, it's always going to be interesting. I don't even want to talk about City. Screw them.
Before we finish up, if you're going to rank the transfer window so far, so we have like, I'm going to say officially, Gyokeres is kind of done deal now. Let's be honest. He'll come in through the door over the next week. So Gyokeres having his medical. Mascara he is officially done. He's through the door. What would you rate the transfer window? Like in terms of, because it's hard. I talked about it earlier, like trying to take that whole Liverpool situation out of the way and the fact that Isak might move. Right now, because Isak has not moved, let's not forget that. He hasn't actually moved. Right now, what would you rank it? Like, especially considering we're the 25th of July right now. So we're not into August yet. Like, what would you put it at?
I'd say it's probably like a 7. And I think if an Eze comes in, it goes up to like a 9. And then if any other winger comes in, it goes like 12. But yeah, like, I think, I think we can be, if we bring in Eze in, I think ultimately the club have done what they promised. They have spent a lot of money and they have brought in a lot of players we needed. And I can't really complain. We
Mhm.
brought in 3 forwards, which has been the thing I've been talking about all year. I've been like, we need 3 forwards. And I know people have been like, no, let's get 2. And I'm like, we just need 3. Like, look at how the market is. Look at how these players are. We need backups in every position. I'm not having Ethan back up for midfield and right wing. I'm not having it. I don't agree. I think we need 1 for each. So, like, obviously, we haven't maybe got about that. And if we buy Eze, it's weird because we haven't actually signed a left winger, which was like the whole point. But I've said this before. I think the market is awful, and I think that's kind of played in, not helped us. So we kind of had to
Yep.
pivot. And I don't mind us getting Madueke, Eze, and Gyokeres. And like, it's not the perfect. Like, is it the number 1 striker option I would want? No. Is it the number 1 right winger option I would want? No. But well, maybe like on player wise, I actually like Madueke a lot, but like, is it like what I would imagine our summer being at the start? No, but I still ultimately you put positions you want players in, and we've got players in them positions, so that is the thing we can be happy with. And I think we're good if we buy all these players. Like, it is a great thing, and the thing is that like they are a win now. We've got 27-year-olds, but they're not like old. We've got such like we have time with these players, and we've got
Yeah.
so much like I don't know, it's just so much freedom. And I think for once Arsenal have actually done fun things in the window that make sense, that can help the team, but are fun. And I think all of the weaknesses I have about Arteta, like he has no excuses now. He's been given the backing, he's been given backup players, and I think Arteta is a good enough manager to learn from that and improve now. So I think yeah, I think it's brilliant. I think Ineze makes it a 9, and like I would be a 10 realistically, but I was just gonna say 9. And I don't focus on Liverpool too much. Like, Liverpool do what they need to do. We do what we need to do.
Yeah.
Situations don't work out for us. Like, I get people, even me, like I'm someone that looked at Isak and went, "Oh, he's going there." I don't really care too much about Ekatike. He's good, but not like I don't think he's that good now. So I was like, he's a bit annoying, but like when we get into the season and get into full flow, I probably won't care. Hopefully, if we play well.
I mean, I say it all the time. The Stuttgart striker curse for Ekatike going
The
there, and
Frankfurt.
then oh sorry, yeah, not Stuttgart, but yeah, going and then Isak goes, like that's almost like part of the curse itself, isn't it? Like most of them just don't turn out good once they leave there. For me, I think yeah, 7 is fair. Like maybe like moving towards an 8 in terms of judging it now, not judging it for if the window's shut. I mean judging it now, knowing that we've still got time because the amount of business done. Previously, if Eddie was in charge right now, and I think Eddie did a good job, I don't think he would have been able to get these deals all done by now. I just don't think that could have happened. I think for it to continue to progress, we have got to move players out. Like you look through the team, I really like Nelson, and again, he's like the preseason pro, isn't he? He's like so good, but he has to move on. I think Jesus, if you can get him out, that would be fantastic. We'll wait and see whether that does happen or not. Lakonga, Vieira, who else have we got? I'm trying to think now. I mean, Tomiyasu has already moved out.
Zinchenko, did you say him?
Zinchenko one. Yeah. So there are players to move on. And then can we get in an Eze? If we could move some of those players out and get Eze in, I think that moves it up towards
I think we can get Eze without sales, but I do think that they would probably prefer to make sales.
yeah.
But I might be a situation where we buy Eze like in the next 2 weeks, and then we look at like who can we sell, because like that's kind of what big clubs do. They kind of believe in themselves to sell.
I think Berta does as well.
Yeah, it's gonna be so interesting to see who he sells and how much money.
Which is why I don't think Edu would have done this right now. He wouldn't have done all of these deals because he would have been going, like, how am I going to, what do I do? I mean, let alone negotiating a deal with Sporting.
Well,
I just can't see that happening.
I've also like with Edu, like one of the biggest downfalls of big like clubs is sporting directors that have a best buddy who's an agent. It's just clear. United, there's been like, I mean, Hand of Arsenal said it, but like they bought Euro and then Jorge Mendes forced them to buy Ugarte, his other client. And there's been so many situations in the past with, I remember when Woodward was there, he was just friends with these certain agents. I mean, like, obviously we don't know everything, but like it is quite well known that Edu basically goes to that, to Kai, to every signing that he wanted. Like, why were we linked to Douglas Luiz? Because that's Kai's guy. And even now, I'm looking at who are Forest linked to. Oh yeah, Douglas Luiz. I wonder why. Like ultimately and there's been lots of reports about this. Like, it's not just me saying that. Like, there's been reports by credible sources. Even the Athletic, I think, spoke about it once. Was that he basically, like, when we were signing people like Guendouzi, all these other players, he basically was just so adamant on getting the guys from this agent, his friends, like Neto, like Pablo Mari, like all these players that it's just his guys. Like, and the same Sterling
Cedric.
might not have been that. Yeah, maybe a Cedric, like the Sterling. Like, I know Sterling's not, I don't think the same agent, but like he's got friends with Sterling. Like ultimately, I don't think a sport. Like, I also do want to say, like, I don't think it is clear that. I think that Berta came in and maybe pushed the Gyokeres move a bit more, but he was on the list of players that we wanted. Like, there was, like, it was reported, I think, by the Athletic that he was on the list. It wasn't like he just came out of nowhere and we were like, oh, we'll consider him again. And there's also like a lot of people on Twitter that I've seen that are like, don't get this wrong. It's a Berta signing. It's never a Berta signing. It's a club signing. Everyone in the club has an opinion and will put it in. And maybe, like we said about the Norgard thing, they had a panic. So they went to the head of recruitment and maybe he was like, I like Norgard. And then they looked at him and went, yeah, okay. But you know, they ultimately there's like 20 or 30 people making this transfer decision at the end of the day. Like, Berta will come in and have influence, but Arteta will have the biggest influence. He has the biggest influence in this club. It's not been a secret. So if Arteta didn't like Gyokeres, he wouldn't get Gyokeres. Like, he just would. There's other strikers out there. Like, people going on about Samu. Like, I think Samu's a good player and he's very physical. Yeah, cool. But he is super young and he's nowhere near the level at Gyokeres and plays in the same league. So, like, you know, the questions I would have around Gyokeres. Yeah, like, why would you bother? If we're going to take a risk, which the striker market was always going to be a risk, ultimately we have to get someone for the price that is right, that allows us to do other business, and is like someone that we can like at least like bring something different to the team and actually has a pedigree of scoring goals, or at least something that we don't have. Because we have players that progress the ball, dribble, all this stuff, but we just don't have a goal scorer. So it's absolutely fine to go, well, let's go down the list. Who's actually worth the price that we want to pay? Oh, Gyokeres. And it makes sense. And like the whole Ekitike thing, I've seen so many people be like, why are Arsenal interested? Like, we've done this for 3 months, guys. Gyökeres, Ekitike is not a physical player. He works in space in the Bundesliga. With the same questions we have around Gyökeres, you have even more of Ekitike. And then you factor in he's kind of like the Šeško deal. The whole point of Šeško was that Šeško is a better fit now and Gyökeres is the better player. For Ekitike, he's more similar style-wise in Arsenal's setup to a Gyökeres, but he's also not like a Sesko in terms of his development, and also costs way more money, like 15 to 20 mil more. So it never made sense to me to go for Ekatike, like never, and I always made this clear. So it's like we always were going to go, I think, for Gyokeres in the end. And I've read reports all this week, and I don't know if it's like pretending that they didn't want Sheshko, because even I said a couple of weeks ago that I think it was clear we wanted Sheshko over like we wanted him over Gyokeres, but the price made more sense. But it does seem like they kind of wanted Gyokeres over him in the end, and it's not just a
Yeah.
Bert thing. Like everyone's been involved. Like I'm sure Arteta is. I mean, apparently the Arsenal team are like absolutely gassed about him coming in. I mean, we saw the Miles Sketty celebration when
Yeah,
here we
that's
go, and
so
I do
good.
think that is such a big thing. Like I do think the players are going to be hugely. I know they would have been down with anyone. Like, they're going to be down with Sheshko, but like to have a guy like Gyokeres come in and be like, I want 14, I want to do this. I just think like it's so fun. I'm so excited for Gyokeres. But I don't think this like I don't think he's the best player in the world. I don't think he's going to start every game, but I don't think I've been this excited for an Arsenal signing in such a long time. It's just
No,
something
no,
about
I
him.
really haven't. Like, I
Something
really,
about
really
him.
haven't. Like, I can't wait for the training videos. I
Yeah, I
can't
just want to see
wait
every
for
content. I want
him
to.
and Gabriel back being fit, him and Gabriel going at it. Like, it's going to be just that alone is going to be quality. I mean, for me, going back to Ryan's original questions about, you know, what we would rank it. I'll try to bring it up again, Ryan. For me, for it to get to like a 9 or a 10, we have to get outgoings, like all the outgoings that everyone, you know, doesn't matter which platform you watch, you know, people talking on, the regular people out. For a 10, it has to be like Jesus out on top of it. So a sale, you know, whether that's just, you know, 10 mil, if that's 10 mil, I will go, geez, that's really good. I believe as well, for us to get in 2 players, so Eze would be the obvious one. I think we could financially do Eze. Apparently, his sale for his release clause, it has to be paid over 24 months. So that means, you know, maybe we can financially do that before we get rid of someone, possibly. But if you could get rid of, say, Trossard for 20 mil, 15 to 20, I'll go, geez, okay. You've got rid of Jesus for money early while he's injured. You've got rid of Trossard close to what we forked out for him in the first place. Then you bring in Eze and someone else. If you do that, then it's a 10. Regardless, I'm not comparing it to Liverpool with Isak and all of that. I think that's how you get it to a proper 10. The chance of that happening, I know, are slim to none. That's not what I'm saying. But for me, a 10 has to be near on perfect. I think if Berta, realistically, what I would love is the regular players to leave. Maybe Jesus can leave on a loan or something. That'd be nice. We get in an Eze, and then, you know, we just try and get someone in on the last, you know, week or last day. Try to do an Ozil deal, you know, get in Rodrigo or something.
Yeah.
You know,
I
like
do think I
if we
agree. Yeah.
try, then I'll be like, yeah, fair play.
That
But
is how it works, isn't it? Like I just think some people like even like tacticos really like annoy me because I don't see myself as a tactico or whatever. I do talk about tactics a lot, but that's just because
I
I
do.
want to. But that's just because like with how I look at football, I want to know every little detail and understand how things work. But more importantly, I've said this a lot in my videos. I would, even though I do go in a lot into the tactics, in terms of like how the squad is constructed per game and how we set up tactically, I would rather care about the like how the club works than that. I look at that side
Mm-hmm.
of the game a little bit more because I look at these tacticos and it's like EBL on Twitter. Like he makes some great cut stuff, but every single Arsenal signing, he's justifying. This guy's a great player. This guy's a great player. But sometimes you just make signings because of how the market is, and I think sometimes people need to give our club some slack. And I hate this whole like every time you praise Arsenal, like oh you like I'm praising them because I think they've done a good job. I'm always honest like that.
Oh, what, like
And
the top gooner thing?
yeah, well, it's like I can't like, but the thing is with Arsenal, it's like I think that like yeah, you need to be like critical, but there's also sometimes they need to be allowed to have some freedom and also be given the benefit of the doubt. We signed Gyokeres and everyone was complaining over and over again that we hadn't got the striker situation done. And ultimately, it looked like this Isak deal was out of like reach. And apparently, they had contacted us, and we probably knew he was maybe available at the end of the market. But if it was going to cost 250 mil, we probably decided as a club that's not worth it. It's not our fault that he's now done this now or whatever's gone on this situation and he's going to go to Liverpool. That's not our fault. Like our club need to be given slack. The same with this Rodrigo deal. If Rodrigo's wages, which I've heard, and the whole package deal is incredible, I
Mm.
don't think we should pay that. I've said multiple times he's not the perfect left winger. I know he's world class or whatever, but he's not that perfect player. And and you could easily just wait and maybe buy one next summer or wait. Like if we buy an Eze, I don't think the need is like there that much now. So I think the club need a little bit of benefit of the doubt sometimes. And I just think people don't give that to him. People don't give that to Arteta at all. Like I think his recruitment, especially in forward areas, is not great. And I think he's a lot of the time it has been quite scared recruitment. Is that down to Arteta purely? No, it's down to so many other people. It's down to the
Yep.
Kroenkes not getting involved. I mean, even this summer, there's been reports that Kroenkes were going to give us like 200 mil or whatever, and Arteta asked for more money. He wanted them to spend more money this summer, and it looks like we are spending it. And ultimately, this unprecedented summer, which the thumbnail says, we are getting, and we can't compare us to a Liverpool to another because we are having a career mode, football manager summer. We hopefully will get rid of the players, which I agree does. I think make change it from like an 8.59 to a 10. Like the sales have to happen for that to happen. But like we are having this incredible summer, and we should just not look at other teams and be like, because I think we've had a way better summer than City. I think
Yeah.
City summer. They're signing James Trafford for 30 mil to sit on our bench. Like if we did that, like imagine the criticism. Oh, Arsenal can't sign two number ones. No other team does that. Well, Liverpool's sub goalkeeper, they spent 30 mil on, and he's sitting at Mamadashvili. Now City have done it. Well, it's maybe like Arsenal were doing the right thing at this time, and maybe it wasn't that deep like the media made it out to be. So I do think that like I don't know. I'm very happy. I am critical of this club when we don't do things right, and we deserve to be critical over the last couple of summers. But look, we get an Eze in, make some sales. Like, I would love a a fourth attacking side, of course. But like, if our wingers that we're looking at are Rodrigo, who wants stupid amount of money, and Gordon, who like probably isn't possible at the moment,
Yep.
then there's no point. There's no point. Just wait. We've already signed
Yeah.
like 7 players. It's fine.
Yeah. No, I'm 100% with you. 100%. Before we finish up, Ryan has put one more question in. Thank you, Ryan. Always put in the chat, mate. You looking forward to the Spurs match? I'll be honest, I'll take this first. I hate playing Spurs. Like, I love it after. I love it after, usually because we win. I get so nervous about it. Even like part of the reason for this one, I am not looking forward to it because it is not a friendly. Like you cannot, no one can tell me that you can play Spurs in pre-season as a friendly. Can't. Like, and it's just to me, just injuries waiting to happen, unnecessary. The other thing is like I look at it and think, why would this is something that should be like a marquee game, like a big game. Why on earth are we playing them before? That's the way I look at it. Reece, you looking forward to it though?
Injuries do worry me about everything. Like I worry about every game because of injuries. Like international games, I hate. Like we're playing San Marino. Nope, don't want to be a part of it. Absolutely. Like think it's do not put our players there. But I do think like we've got Newcastle and Tottenham coming up. It will be interesting to see one how them two teams play. I mean, who knew what Newcastle are going to do? That'd be crazy. But we obviously struggle against Newcastle a lot. Like historically, so it'd be really cool to see like how like our players are playing, and ultimately like if we don't get any injuries, I mean, they're not going to play that long, these players. They're all going to play about a half at most, maybe 50, 60 minutes. So it's not going to be like they're going to get tired out. So I love learning, to be honest. Like, and I think you can learn a lot from preseason. I find it incredibly fun because in my eyes, you can't lose. It's you just like even if you lose a game, you're not losing, you're learning, you're getting better and you're improving. So I just think like all these games are good against good opponents. That's calm. Like I don't mind. Like I'm excited because we get to see our team play, and that game specifically might be Gyokeres' debut, and that'd be kind of cool to see.
Yeah,
So
that would be
I'm
cool.
already gonna make what we learned from Gyokeres' debut video, so I already know we're prepared for that.
I mean, I'm looking forward to the Newcastle game. I will be on the Cannon Podcast Instant Reaction this Sunday, making a frightful return. I haven't been on there for ages, actually. I've been, I'm like the guy they kind of bring out. I'm Ollie Watkins. I'm Plan C. That's what I am.
If it starts going like crazy in the chat, you're mod, and then you're gonna be streaming as well.
Yeah.
Do 2 jobs at once.
Quick. Yeah, I'll be on there. I am looking forward to it though. For what you said, the only thing I'm not looking forward to as much with the Newcastle game is the fact that, like, I wish that we had, and I'm mentioning Eze like it's a done deal, but I would love to see if we were getting an Eze in, having him and Gyokeres there, because I would love to see how they're implemented against Newcastle, because Newcastle have been like our kryptonite, haven't they? But I'm looking forward to it. It's always a game that is played high octane. There's a lot of kind of bad blood between them. It's also nice that they don't have Isak, so it'll be nice to see that.
Do they have any strikers? I don't think they have any, do they?
No. Who are they going to play?
I guess they might just have to play Ozolu up front, but I like Ozolu.
Or does Gordon play through the middle and then you play Harvey Barnes? And
I guess they could do that. I feel like they should just play Ozolu up front, but like it's gonna be so weird. They don't have anyone. They lost Wilson as well. So
yeah. So I mean, I'm looking forward to that game. That'll be a good one. So if you are watching this and you want to jump on and show some support, I would really appreciate it, because I'm going to be on with George as well, who's going to be making me look stupid. So wonderful. Can't wait. Mate, what a pod. It's been so nice to be talking to you and not being nauseous during this one. It's been fantastic.
Yeah, it's been a while.
Tell everyone where they can find you, Reece.
FOKLZ Football on YouTube, and then FOKLZ YT on Twitter, and on Insta now, and TikTok.
Oh,
I've always been on TikTok, but now Insta.
Whoop whoop. Thanks, Dan. Dan said he'll try to be there. Yeah, and if you haven't already, please like this video. It really does help push it out on the algorithm, and subscribe to the channel. We are here every Friday. I am actually starting to make more content as well. I was making some more videos today, so there are going to be more videos sent out each week. Next week will be an interesting one, because I'm away on holiday next week. I'm making a brief trip to the Cadbury's factory as well, which I'm looking forward to. So I might have to do it over my phone or something. We'll have to try and work that out, Reece. So there might be a slight change to next week, but I will be popping a lot more content out on the channel, so please make sure that you are subscribed here. And you can find me under Forder on Footy, on TikTok, on X, and also I'm on Instagram, so you can find me there. Hope everyone's well. Take it easy. We will see you next week. Cheers now.